it's a proud privilege that all of you all have spent your valuable time today to attend this program. I'm sure you all must have attended likewise programs elsewhere. You all must have done your preliminary investigation. But being a part with us, it is a privilege for us on a holiday, where on a weekend where you definitely, I'm sure you must be having your own programs. So thank you so much for your presence. Now I would like to welcome Shri Vimal Bora, Vice President of KVO Seva Samaj. Please come on the dais. I would also like to welcome Dr. Chandrakant Lalan, President of KVO Seva Samaj. Shri Lex Kenya, Education Advisor. Please, sir. Where are all the clappings? If no one has had tea and coffee today, we had nice arrangement down there. I would now like to welcome Dr. Ila Dedia, Education Coordinator. Our chief guest, Dr. Sudhir Shah. It's a proud privilege to have you here, sir. Definitely our community is going to be benefited, blessed and informed by your valuable guidance and suggestion. I would like to welcome Jiten Dedia, Secretary of Seva Samaj. Please join your hands for a round of applause. Yeah. Also, I would like to welcome Sailesh Mota, sir. Please raise your hand. Where are you sitting, sir? Please join us on the dais. Now let's hear from Shri Vimal Bora, opening message for this program.
Good evening, everyone. So we can see a good, huge, good crowd. After 2 years of COVID gap, a lot of people have decided to go back again, and we have been getting a lot of inquiries, so that we thought of, anyway, every year we arrange a seminar, but this time Dr. Ilaben and Lex Kenya thought of arranging this seminar early, so that people get sufficient time to decide, and there are a lot of procedures to be followed before going there. तकड़ो बहुत सरस क्राउड नेरला मले रह्यो है असी भाई कच्ची समाज में कोई तकलीफ है खबर है पण पत्रिका वाँच्यू था पण जो एक्शन नता करनु કેટલા જણા પત્રિકા વાંચીને રજિસ્ટ્રેશન કરાયા કેન વી રેઝ અને કેટલા જણા વોટ્સએપ વાંચીને રજિસ્ટ્રેશન કરાયા ઓ ઇટ્સ ઇક્વલ સો વી વર જસ્ટ ડિસ્કસિંગ કે ભાઈ પત્રિકાને પણ જો સી એટ ધ એન્ડ ઓફ ઇટ એ કમ્યુનિકેશન કંઈક તો બી ઓનું ખપે તો અમુક જણા જે હતા કે પત્રિકા વાંચીને હતા નથી બટ દેન ધીસ ટુડે ઇટ ઇઝ પ્રૂવડ લોટ ઓફ ધેમ મેજોરિટી ઓફ ધેમ હેવ રજિસ્ટર્ડ પત્રિકા થ્રુ પત્રિકા દેટ્સ ફાઇન. So we have today good dignities, and a lot of people are in touch with Dr. Ila Dedia and Lex Kenya on a day-to-day. Gana jana WhatsApp group में पण हुंदा, and they have been mentor to this entire event. Both of them have been arranging these seminars under the banner KVO Seva Samaj. Seva Samaj विषय वधु असाजा President Dr. Lalan चूंदा. But in short, this year, being a 75th Amrut Mahotsav of Seva Samaj, we are celebrating it. Let's have a round of applause for that. 75 વર્ષની જર્ની અને સ્કૂલથી ચાલુ ક્યાંમાં કદાચ માટુંગા બોર્ડિંગથી ચાલુ કરે ચીચપોકલી સ્કૂલથી પોએ શાયન એન્કર કોલેજ જો હું કચ્છી જે નાલા ચાહતો તે કરીને વિદેશ સુધીની જો યાત્રા હે અને મેં નંढे બાળક જે બચપન જે ભણતરથી કરે ને વિદેશ સુધી જે એજ્યુકેશનથી એને પોતે સેટલ થયે સુધી કતે ને કતે સેવા સમાજ સંકળાયેલો રહ્યો છે. એટલે પાણચું નકડી લાઈફ લાઈન બની હોય સેવા સમાજ. અહીં કોઈ પણ ટોપિક વિચાર્યો, મેડિકલ વે, એજ્યુકેશન વે, બિઝનેસ વે, સ્પોર્ટ્સ વે, લાઈફથી જો કોઈ 4 થી 5 જો કોઈ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ જો કોઈ પાંहिंजी એક્ટિવિટી સૌથી વધારે સમય બને તો અને મેં કતે ને કતે સેવા સમાજ ઓલરેડી સંકળાયેલો છે. એન્ડ વી આર પ્રાઉડ ફોર દેટ કે સંસ્થા આટલો કમ્યુનિટી સાથે ટચ में आहे. સો વી વિલ બી હિયરિંગ અ વેરી વેરી ગુડ ઇન્ફોર્મેશન. સુધીર શાહ પાંहिंजे સાથે વઠાઈ એજ્યુકેશન પાણચુના ફોરેન એક્સપર્ટ્સ એની જા લેખ columns, he is one of the good columnists and he keeps on writing. અને જા સારામાં સારા લેખ્સ અચેતા ન્યૂઝપેપર્સ में. સુધીર શાહ જા બેટર હાફ is actively involved in drama. I will have asked, let's have a round for applause for her. અને બાકી ચાહીજી જરૂર ના ટુડે બીંગ USA ટોપિક ખાલી આવું ભૂલ કહીએ કે સાદો બ્લેક જેકેટ પહેર્યા હોય. ઇનફેક્ટ આઈ વિશ આઈ કુડ હેવ વોર્ન દેટ સેમ USA બ્રાન્ડ. સો આઈ વેલકમ એવરીવન એન્ડ થેન્ક યુ ફોર ગિવિંગ એન ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી ટુ સેવા સમાજ ટુ શોકેસ ધીસ શો. થેન્ક યુ એવરીવન.
Now I request President of Seva Samaj, Dr. Chandrakant Lalan, to share his words of wisdom.
નમસ્કાર. કચ્છી વિશ્વાસવાળ સેવા સમાજ તરફથી અત્રે પધારેલા સર્વે માનવંતા, તમે બધા મારા મહેમાનો છો તો બધા માનવંતા મહેમાનોનું હાર્દિક હાર્દિક સ્વાગત. સેવા સમાજ પોતાના આયુષ્યના 75 વર્ષ પૂર્ણ કરી અમૃત મહોત્સવ ઉજવી રહ્યું છે. 1947માં 15 ઓગસ્ટે આપણને આઝાદી મળી અને તેના બીજા જ દિવસે 16 ઓગસ્ટે પરમ પૂજ્ય વેલજી બાપા અને અન્ય સાથીદારોએ આ સેવા સમાજની સ્થાપના કરી. આ સેવા સમાજની સ્થાપના કરવાનો મૂળ હેતુ વેલજી બાપાનો એ જ હતો કે 75 વર્ષ પહેલાં આપણા સમાજમાં શિક્ષણનું પ્રમાણ નહીવત હતું. આપણે બધા જ અનાજના ધંધામાં ઓતપ્રોત હતા. ત્યારે એ વિઝનરી વેલજી બાપાએ જોયું કે આમાંથી સમાજને બહાર લઈ અને જો આપણે શિક્ષણ આપીશું તો આવનારી પેઢીઓ માટે બહુ જ ઉપયોગી હશે. અને એ વિઝનને ધ્યાનમાં રાખી સેવા સમાજ છેલ્લા 75 વર્ષથી સતત એજ્યુકેશન અને શિક્ષણ પ્રત્યે પોતાનું લગભગ 3/4 એક્ટિવિટીમાં સેવા સમાજ એજ્યુકેશનને આવરી લે છે. તમને કહું કે અમારી પાસે બુક બેંક છે. અહીંયા બધેલા ઘણા વિદ્યાર્થીઓએ એ બુક બેંકનો લાભ લીધો હશે. 11મા ધોરણથી કરીને PhD સુધીના બધા જ સ્ટ્રીમની બધી જ બુકો આપણી બુક બેંકમાં મળી રહે છે. વિદ્યાર્થીઓને એજ્યુકેશન માટે, હાયર એજ્યુકેશન માટે લોનની સગવડ સેવા સમાજે આજથી 30 થી 35 વર્ષ પહેલાં શરૂ કરી. અને તમે નહીં માનો, આ વર્ષે ફક્ત આ ગયા વર્ષે એટલે માર્ચ મહિનામાં આપણું વર્ષ પૂરું થયું ત્યારે એ જ એક જ વર્ષમાં 4.5 કરોડ રૂપિયાની વગર વ્યાજની લોજ આપણા વિદ્યાર્થીઓને સેવા સમાજે પૂરી પાડી છે. અને એમાંથી લગભગ 125 વિદ્યાર્થીઓ જે એજ્યુકેશન માટે પરદેશ જતા હતા એમને પણ સારા એવા પ્રમાણમાં દરેક વિદ્યાર્થીઓને વગર વ્યાજની લોન આપી છે. છોકરાઓને જોઈતા લેપટોપ અને કોમ્પ્યુટર પણ વગર વ્યાજની લોન સાથે સેવા સમાજ આપે છે. પણ એજ્યુકેશનના આટલા બધા પ્રોગ્રામો, આજે વિદેશ જવા માટેનો પ્રોગ્રામ છે. લાસ્ટ 1 એપ્રિલના અમારો કેરિયર કાઉન્સિલિંગનો પ્રોગ્રામ હતો. તેમાં લગભગ 200 જેટલા વિદ્યાર્થીઓએ ખૂબ જ ઉત્સાહપૂર્વક ભાગ લીધેલો. અમારા એજ્યુકેશનલ મેન્ટર ડૉક્ટર ઈલા ડેઢિયા સતત આની પાછળ પડ્યા હોય છે. અને ડૉક્ટર ઈલા ડેઢિયાનું તો એવું છે કે 24/7 હેલ્પલાઇન છે. જ્યારે જુઓ અને જે છોકરા કોઈ અમેરિકામાં વસતું હોય, કોઈ ન્યૂઝીલેન્ડમાં વસતું હોય, કોઈ યુકેમાં વસતું હોય, ઈલાબેનને ગમે ત્યારે ફોન કરી અને ગાઈડન્સ લઈ શકે છે. આમ સેવા સમાજ એજ્યુકેશન પ્રત્યે ખૂબ નિષ્ઠાવાન છે. અને તમે બધા આજના પ્રોગ્રામમાં આવ્યા છો એ જોઈને મને ખૂબ ખૂબ આનંદ થાય છે. સેવા સમાજની બીજી ઘણી એક્ટિવિટીઓ છે. સ્ત્રી ઉત્કર્ષની એક્ટિવિટી છે, જેમાં આપણા સમાજની સ્ત્રીઓને પગભર થવા માટે લગભગ દર વર્ષે 1 થી 1.5 કરોડ રૂપિયાની વગર વ્યાજની લોન આપીએ છીએ. મેડિકલ રિલીફમાં પણ દર વર્ષે લગભગ 40 થી 50 લાખ રૂપિયા જેટલી જરૂરિયાતમંદોને મેડિકલ રિલીફનો ફંડમાંથી ફાળો આપીએ છીએ. અને અમારી બીજી એક મોટી પ્રવૃત્તિ છે મેડિક્લેમ અંગેની સંજીવની. આપણા સમાજના લગભગ 30 થી 35 હજાર વ્યક્તિઓ સેવા સમાજની સંજીવની યોજનામાં જોડાયેલા છે. દર વર્ષે લગભગ 25 કરોડ રૂપિયાનું પ્રીમિયમ આપણે ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ કંપનીને આપીએ છીએ, પણ સામે લગભગ દર વર્ષે 30 થી 35 કરોડ રૂપિયા આપણે વસૂલ પણ કરી શકીએ છીએ. આમ રમતગમત ક્ષેત્રે પણ સેવા સમાજનું બહુ જ મોટું યોગદાન છે. આજથી 35 વર્ષ પહેલાં શરૂ થયેલી ક્રિકેટ માટેની નવનીત કપ 4 ટીમો ભાગ લેલું અને આજે લગભગ 300 મેચો નવનીત કપમાં રમાય છે. ગામ ગ્રુપ, જનરલ ગ્રુપ, T20 ગ્રુપ, લિજેન્ડ ગ્રુપ, અને તમે નહીં માનો આ વર્ષે અમારું 2nd યર હતું લેડીઝ માટેની ટર્ફ ક્રિકેટ, એમાં 650 લેડીઝોએ ભાગ લીધેલો. તો એજ્યુકેશન અને એવી રીતે ગાલા સ્પ્રિંગ વોલીબોલ કપ, આપણે ફૂટબોલ કપ, બાસ્કેટબોલ કપ, એમ વિવિધ રમતગમતની પ્રવૃત્તિઓ પણ સેવા સમાજ કરતું આવ્યું છે. અને એ પ્રવૃત્તિઓની સાથે સાથે આપણા યુથ એકબીજા સાથે સંકળાય છે. લગભગ ક્રિકેટમાં નહીં ભાગ લીધો હોય તો આ વર્ષે 1500થી વધારે યુવાનોએ ક્રિકેટમાં ભાગ લીધેલો. તો યુવાનોને જોડવાનું કામ આ સેવા સમાજ કરતું આવ્યું છે. સેવા સમાજની અનેકવિધ પ્રવૃત્તિઓ છે અને સેવા સમાજનો મેઇન એમ છે કે આપણા સમાજનું, આપણા જ્ઞાતિનું, આપણા લોકોનું જીવન સ્તર ઊંચું આવે. આજે 75 વર્ષ પહેલાં તમે નહીં માનો કોલેજમાં જનારા વિદ્યાર્થીઓ આંગળીના વેઢે ગણાય એટલા હતા, અને આજે હજારોમાં પણ આપણે ગણી ન શકીએ એટલા વિદ્યાર્થીઓ એજ્યુકેશન માટે આગળ વધી રહ્યા છે. એજ્યુકેશનની જનજાગૃતિ કેળવવામાં સેવા સમાજનો ફાળો અન્ય રહ્યો છે. આપણી સમયની મર્યાદા છે એટલે હું મારું વક્તવ્ય અહીં પૂરું કરું છું. અને તમે બધા જ આજે ધ્યાનથી સાંભળજો. આજે આપણી પાસે ગુરુઓના ગુરુ એવા ડૉક્ટર સુધીર શાહ આવ્યા છે. ડૉક્ટરેટ છે. તમે નહીં માનો ડૉક્ટરેટ સાહિત્યમાં થવું ઇઝી છે, મેડિકલમાં થવું ઇઝી છે, પણ લોમાં ડૉક્ટરેટ થવું કેટલું અઘરું છે. પણ એવા ડૉક્ટર સુધીર શાહ પણ આજે આપણી પાસે આવ્યા છે. તમારાથી લૂંટાય એટલો ખજાનો એમની પાસેથી તમે લૂંટી લેજો. અસ્તુ.
It is really proud for us to hear the activities which Seva Samaj is involved in, because of which our KVO community is connected. So that is very important that through Seva Samaj we are being connected, our networking has increased and we are getting involved, knowing our community more better. Now I like to welcome Shree Lex Kenya, who is not only an educational advisor, but he has a Pandora box of experience, which we'll definitely like to learn from him about his experience on various educational fronts. I welcome Shree Lex Kenya, sir.
Thank you very much. મારો જન્મ સેવા સમાજના જન્મ પછી થયો છે, એટલે હું એટલો યંગ છું થોડો. It's so nice to see all of you here. Full audience, 100%, અને કદાચ બાજુના રૂમમાં આપણે બેસાડવા પડશે આતે. ફોરેન એજ્યુકેશન માટે બહુ જ ક્રુશિયલ ટાઈમ છે. ઇન અ વે આઈ એમ શ્યોર ધ ડિસિઝન મેકિંગ પ્રોસેસ તમે બધાએ સમાચાર વાંચતા હશો, બધું વાંચતા હશો કે ઇટ્સ અ ક્રુશિયલ ટાઈમ. સો વોટ એવર યુ ગોઈંગ ટુ ગેટ આજે આ સબ્જેક્ટ ઉપર એ તમારે મંથનમાં તમને બધાને કામ આવશે. સો વોટ વી હેવ ડન ઇટ વેરી સ્પેશિયલી ઇઝ આ વખતે અમે આ 5 તમે જો છો અહીંયા 5 જણ બેઠા છે. ધીઝ આર અવર તમારી સાથેના મેઇન કોન્ટેક્ટ છે એઝ ફાર એઝ દે આર ધ સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ. અહીંયાથી ગયા છે, કોઈ પાછું આવ્યું છે, કોઈ પાછું આવીને વળી પાછું ગયું છે. they some of them are failed even, and then they rose up again. એટલે એ લોકોની જર્ની, એ લોકોના ક્વેશ્ચન આન્સર, એ લોકો સાથેનો તમારો 1-to-1 કોન્ટેક્ટ જરૂર બનાવજો. સુધીરભાઈ તો પોતાનું જે મંતવ્ય આપવાનું એ કહેશે જ, એ તો ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ હશે જ, પણ 1-to-1 જે આપણો ડાયરેક્ટ એક્સપિરિયન્સ જે એ લોકોનો છે એ સાંભળવા જેવો છે. અને જરૂર મંથન કરજો, અને એમને બી જવા નહીં આપતા અહીંયાથી જ્યાં સુધી તમારા બધા ક્વેશ્ચન આન્સર ન થાય. ઓકે, શું કરીએ છીએ અમે અહીંયા સેવા સમાજમાં ફોરેન એજ્યુકેશનમાં? નંબર 1 અમારું કામ છે, હું બીજા ડિટેલમાં નહીં જાઉં, અમારું કામ છે કે અમારો જે ફોરેનનો છોકરાઓનો એક્સપિરિયન્સ અમારો દર વર્ષે થતો રહે એ બધાનો અમાલગમેશન કરી અને વળી પાછું સમાજને પીરસવાનું. અમારું મેઇન કામ એ છે કે પીરસવાનું, કે જે નવું આવતું જાય સમજતા જઈએ, અમે સમજતા જઈએ, એવી રીતે પાછું આપતા થઈએ. એટલે જ અમે થોડા વખત પહેલાં તમે કદાચ વાંચ્યું હશે કે બહુ જ મહત્ત્વનો એક પત્રિકામાં વચ્ચે બહાર પાડેલું લેખ જઈને અને અમે ડિબેટ કરી, અને કે ભાઈ મા બાપના પૈસા ખર્ચતા નહીં, અથવા મા બાપને તકલીફ પડે એવું કરીને તમે તમારું એજ્યુકેશન આગળ ધપાવતા નહીં. કારણ કે આ સમય એવો છે, લોનો ઘણે ઠેકાણેથી મળે છે, પણ કોલેટરલ સાઇન જો પેરેન્ટ્સ કરવામાં તમે એમને લો છો, અને ક્યારેક તમે એમને ન છૂટકે કંઈ થયું અને એમને સાઇન કરવાનો, એમનો ઘર ગુમાવવાનો વારો ન આવે, એ તમે ખાસ ખ્યાલ રાખજો. અને પેરેન્ટ્સ પૂછજો, છોકરો કે એ નક્કી કે એની કે ખબર વધારે પૈયા એ ન હલતો, હાણે નહીં હલે, એ સવાલ એક્સેપ્ટેબલ આવે જ ના, આણે આંખે ખબર ઊણી ખપે કરાવને હતી. બરાબર હે? અહીં સમજોતા હું કરું ચેરીઓ અહીંયા એ જરૂરી આવે. કારણ કે અહીં આજો જીવન બનાય અને અહીં જેને ઠેકાણે પગાયો તે પગાયો, તો એ ફુગાઈ દેજી જરૂર ના. છોકરા પણ જે કંઈ હતા અહીં પહેલી ડિગ્રી ડેલા હતા, અને કે પહેલી ડિગ્રી સુધી ખણે આવે, અહીં હજી જવાબદારી પૂરી કરે છે અહીંયા, એ અસી માન્યું હતા. હાણે કેણું હોય ભલે બુદ્ધિ વાપરીએ એની કે પ્રમોટ કયો મળે કયો હતી, પણ કોલેટરલ મેં અહીં આજો બન્યા જે વારો છે એળો કને કહી ગયા. દેટ ઇઝ ધ મેસેજ દેટ વી વોન્ટ ટુ ગીવ અગેન ટુડે. કારણ કે ઘણે જણા પસ્તાજી બી તા પઠિયા જોબ લેતા, ભલે કરંટ સિચ્યુએશન વલ્નરેબલ આવ્યો તે, એટલે એ એકડો ખાસ ખ્યાલ રાખજો. ॿियो नेटवर्क, असांजी सेवा समाज जी नेटवर्क दुनिया जे खूणे खूणे में आहे, किथे बि केर बि अॼु न कंहिं बि आज जे छोकिरे के माँ बाप के कंहिं बि तकलीफ़ पए, कोई भी कंट्री में, वेदर न्यूज़ीलैंड वे, ऑस्ट्रेलिया वे, सिंगापुर वे, USA वे, कैनेडा वे, UK वे, पंहिंजा कच्छी मणी ठेकाणे असीं साथे कनेक्ट करे ॾीबो गमे थी करनि, गमे तहिड़ा प्रॉब्लम में. डोंट वरी अबाउट द प्रॉब्लम, वेदर छोकिरा सिक थिए पिया आहिनि, छणे पिया आहिनि, हुनजो एक्सरे नथो न करे सघे, हुनजो MRI नथो न करे सघे, वी आर देयर फॉर यू 24/7. गमे ते कॉन्टेक्ट करिए. ऐं मनीदान वर्स्ट केस सिनारियो में छोकिरे जूं 24 कलाक जे अंदरि छोकिरे जी फी पण बनाई आहे, छोकिरो हुते वञी सघे, जे क्लास में वञी सघे. એટલે ના કરે इन के सारे में सारे डॉक्टर जो कॉन्टेक्ट कराए ॾिनो आहे न्यूयॉर्क सिटी जड़े में. कारण के घणे वार कोन 12th वारे पुठिया छोकिरा जर कैंपस ते न वे, हुते रोंदा में दस दी वांदो न इंश्योरेंस कवर में, विच में पीरियड में न वे कवर, तो करो कयो आई अहिड़ा फोन अचे हिते अटके रहे, छोकिरो बीमार आहे, करो कहीं केॾा कोठे वञा, कच्छी डॉक्टर जो पंहिंजे ओळखीदे पाड़खीदे डॉक्टर जो कॉन्टेक्ट कराए ॾियो अने उन जो गॾो अॻियां वधाई कराए ॾियो. એટલે नो टास्क नो क्वेश्चन, जेको बि प्रॉब्लम में ये असांजा प्रॉब्लम हुई असीं उन खे हेल्प कला करे कोशिशि कई पोइ त ज़रूरु कॉन्टेक्ट कई आहे. ऐं ई खोला चवां थो की नॉर्मली चए में नथो अचे किथे की अहिड़ो मिड़े बि सर्विसिस असीं ॾियूं था. ई कारण के ॿियो जीअं चयो की असीं वॉर्न कयूं था इनकरेक्ट प्रैक्टिसिस किथे हलंदी वे, को बराबरि न थींदो वे, त असीं ज़रूरु डेफिनेटली वॉर्न कयूं था. छोकिरा बि घणी वार पोते बराबरि न कंदा आहिनि, असांखे ख़बर पए त असीं पेरेंट्स खे फ़ोन अपाड़े तेरी छॾियो, हीउ बराबरि नथो थिए, आके ऐं नेरी ॼाण जो ध्यानु खेचियूं था. असीं त ध्यानु खेचो जो कमु करे सघूं, हीउ कयूं था ज़रूरु, अने आके हीअ इंफॉर्मेशन ॾियूं था. पोइ होस्ट फैमिली प्रोग्राम घणे ठिकाणे पंहिंजो स्पेशली USA में तो बहुत सारो होस्ट फैमिली प्रोग्राम है. हुते जा झुना वञेला मिड़े मणी हिकिड़े ॿिए खे हेल्प करण लाइ करे तयार आहियूं. એટલે એ હોસ્ટ ફેમિલી जो પ્રોગ્રામ પાંજો આવે, પણ એ મને બનેથી 8-9 ॾींहं પહેલાં જ એનાથી પહેલાં કોન્ટેક્ટ કરી जी कोशिशि न कई आहे કે आई मणी खे हैरान कयो था. हुते છેલ્લી મિનિટે આંકે જ્યારે વञे जो ત્યારે असीं हुनखे इंफॉर्मेशन ॾियूं, त कोन आहे की उन खे बि हैरान न थिए, એવું न थिए કારણ કે એ લોકો કારણ કે અપાર્ટમેન્ટનો તો ગોતે દે મારા અહીં ન દે વોન્ટ બી અનલેસ અહીં અટકી રહ્યા હોય કારણ કે કીજ નથી તો હોય તો કોન્ટેક્ટ કયો અને કી કરાવી દઉં પણ અગિયારથી ચિંતા કરીને સમય મળી જો વેસ્ટ કરે છે જરૂર ના हाईलाइट कयूँ तो आसियूँ उते जी अवर वर्स्टनिंग इकोनॉमिक सिचुएशन है यूके में सिचुएशन आगे मनी खबर है ख़राब है यूएसए में ख़राब थे रही है रिसेशन में केर बाहर अची तो के खबर रहे एटले अमुक चीजों असीं हवे विचारी रहा आहियूं कि हिते पांगे की कयूं हाणे छोकराओ पाछा अचींदा थोड़ो एक्सपीरियंस वारा आहीं हिते आहे त हिते पाण की कोन कयूं कि कीअं उभो कयूं अहिड़ो कि जेको उनकी मदद थिए सघे सेटअप थिए में हिते स्टार्टअप में थोड़ी हेल्प करे सघूं कि कीअं अहिड़ो फंडिंग करे जो अहिड़ो हिकिड़ो बैक माइंड में विचार कयूं था अवरथी बाक़ी जस्ट अॻियां थी रेडियो कि अहिड़ो बि हिकिड़ो वीचार कयूं था एटले अञा छोकरा बोकरा वरी पाछा अचे वारा वे कि थियो हुए नी के लॻंदो आहे त कराई जा कॉन्टेक्ट पाण पंहिंजा कॾाक नवड़ा मलाए ॾियो पंहिंजे कच्छी भाषा में चऊं कि बात बाज़ार जी भाषा आहे बात बाज़ार में ओछड़ो अञा नवड़ा मलाए ॾिबो कॾा ॿियो हिकिड़ो बहु सारो प्रोग्राम कयूं था घणे वार अगेन ख़बर न हूंदी 2015 थी करे ने मतिलबु 2015 थी पंहिंजा KVO जा ग्रुप हुयो तो छोकरा यहाँ थी जेको विया आहिनि के हिकिड़े ॿिए खे रिफरल करे में कंहिंखे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में जॉब खपंदो हुयो अलाथी उनखे रेफरल खपंदो हुयो इनके ॾे सघे हिकिड़े ॿिए साथ हू करे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट अमेज़ॉन होॾा उनके होॾा मूंखे जॉब न आहे हाणे कॾा तो उनजी रेज़्यूम हेॾा थी हेॾा हलाइनि मनी के थोड़ी थोड़ी ये भी हेल्प थिए थी अने कंहिंखे जॉब वो लोग किथे इंफॉर्मेशन इनसाइड इंफॉर्मेशन ख़बर पवंदी वे त ई छोकरा असांखे इन्फॉर्म कंदा वे था अने असीं पास ऑन कंदा आहियूं था એટલે એ हिकिड़ी सटल सर्विस चालू आहे अने घणे के कन में कम भी अचे थी आगे एमनी ख़बर त हूंदी कि सेवा समाज अथवा पंहिंजो समाज में इन जनरल 12 स्टैंडर्ड वारे के फाइनेंस नथा कयूं असीं भई हेल्प कयूं था मिले पर फाइनेंस जी हेल्प मनी के पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट वारे के कंदा आहियूं ग्रेजुएट वारे के पुठियां वारे के करे सघंदा आहियूं कारण एटला फंडिंग मिले पॉसिबल नथा वे अथवा ज़रूरी बि नथी वे रियली तो इन सिवाय एक्टिविटीज़ सां गॾु चई हेवर जो जेको मेन उद्देश्य है आउं त हिकिड़ो चाहियां थो कि जिते जिते डाउटफुल हुयो जो फाइनेंस थोरो डाउटफुल आहे ऐं हिकदमि सदर न हुयो 12 महीना वाट न रखंदो मुंहिंजी एडवाइस तव्हांखे इहा आहे कि 12 महीना पोस्टपोन करिणो आहे तव्हांजो एडमिशन पोस्टपोन करे विझो कारण कि अॼु ख़बर न आहे कि अमेरिका में कहिड़ो थियो वारो आहे सारा जॉब मिले वारा आहिनि कि न आहे पिया यूके में कहिड़ो थियो वारो आहे पोस्टपोनिंग इज़ नॉट ए डिफिकल्ट टास्क उनखे चइजो कि भई आउं पुठियां अचो रहियो मुंहिंजो एडमिशन चालू रखो हिते इट कैन बी डन इट्स एन ऑप्शन सेकंड इज़ नेगोशिएशन यू कैन ऑलवेज नेगोशिएशन उनखे ना चवणु ॾियो कि ऐं चयो कि मूंखे 20% ओછી स्कॉलरशिप ॾियो त आउं अचींदो कदाच में बि निकिरे वञो अहिड़ो बि थिए थो अमेरिका में एवरीथिंग इज़ नेगोशिएबल ख्यालु रखिजो राइट सुधीर भाई हाँ नेगोशिएबल पर करे છે અમે કર્યું છે it is given they give extra scholarship if they really like you they will give you that તો અહીંયા હું મારું વ્યક્તિત્વ પૂરું કરું છું let somebody else give you more guidance અને ક્યારે બી કંઈ પૂછવું હોય stop by at any time we are there for you 24/7 bye
I'm sure Dr. Ila Dedia needs no introduction. She is a mentor to all age groups. And every household, family in KVO, she is familiar. So next we'll really like to hear what guidance she'll be giving to the young students who are embarking on this new journey.
So, Jai Jinendra. I will be using a little mix of languages. Kemke I'm sure students would like to connect with the language that they commonly use in the college. અને પાંજી માતૃભાષા કચ્છી है એટલે થોડી કચ્છી પણ બોલ दिया हूँ पाजे जो कोई सेशन है उनमें ऐसी कोई डायरेक्शन फर्स्ट इज़ आई एम पुटिंग अ डिस्क्लेमर आई एम बिगनिंग विथ अ डिस्क्लेमर कि असी नता छूं कि ऐं वनो असी नता छूं ऐं न वनो असी खाली एटलो ज छूं था कि जाणे ने वनो मेक एन इन्फॉर्म्ड डिसिशन कोला के अड़ो कोई जनरल रूल ना है कि वनो तो सारो अने न वनो तो सारो देर इज़ नो रूल दैट वी कैन मेक मणी के पन जी सिचुएशन एवरी वन हैज़ टू जज देयर ओन सिचुएशन एंड सी वॉट इज़ बेस्ट असी बोए टाइप जा अथवा मल्टिपल टाइप जा इम्पैक्ट अने इफेक्ट्स नेरिया आहिनि विच इन्क्लूड्स के व्या एटले सारो अने अड़ा पण के न व्यावा तो करो we have got both type of experiences, and especially post COVID, jate inflation is increasing drastically, and we have seen it. Some countries almost going to the dead end. At the same time, job jo paake khabar hai koro hai layoff. Ever jetla job kahiye ta, some of them have come for a holiday, of course, and some of them have come back for good. And your decision hai, kaisa ka family sathe rahnu hai. That is fine. Eda bhi decisions ve sake. But layoff jo ko state hai hote, nobody knows on a Friday evening what will come to their table, isn't it? So that is the situation that is there. One needs to understand that. Sudhir bhai ta byo pon chonda ke tapoe businesses karega no. He na ta he kayo. Of course he is going to speak on a lot of things. But the disclaimer here from KVO Seva Samaj is that we are not asking you to go and we are neither telling you not to go. That is the first thing. But joko vane ryo hai, joko prava aaye, the flow is already there. Can we stop that flow? No. So, रूठे ने वे सगु कहीं कुल्ला बनोता अथवा ही नता बनोता ही कौन नता बनो, we can't do that. So we have to research and give you the information. Just अंति पहला उनको small mini research किया है. He mentioned about the different groups. So I did a small research. I love to carry on, little just to get what is the current status quo. So I did a little research and I had put 3 questions. All of them are there on some group or the other. My first point was, any one of you, have you come back? The second was, if you have not come back, do you want to come back and do you know what you want to do after coming back? Now specifically mani ke saame rajuat kahi thi because this is the state where you are going and probably you are only looking at 2 years or 3 years. But I'm telling you of a state that is even later.
So I request the members, કોઈ ગાડી નીચે લગાવ્યા હોય તો બરોબર પાર્કિંગ ના થઈ ટો વાળા ને આરટીઓ વાળા નીચે અચીને ઊભા રહેવે અહીં. સો કંજી પણ ગાડી વ્યા તો પ્લીઝ વને ને આવરથી સાઈડ में कर લાયો. થેન્ક યુ.
Thank you. So the second point was કે આકે પાછો અચણું है અને આકે ખબર है આકે કોરો કહેણું है. આ જો ફિક્સ है કે આકે અચને જો કોઈ બી આ જો ફેમિલી બિઝનેસ में જોઈન થેણું है or you already found a job or you know what you're going to do. And the third option was you want to come back but you don't know how to come back, what to do after coming back. Job jo status ko nahi khabar, business kai te start kare jo nahi khabar. What do you think would have been A, B or C? I'm repeating, A is you are already back, B is you want to come back and you know what you're going to do, and the third is that you want to come back but you do not know how to settle down back. What do you think would be the option of the 3? How many of you, please raise your hand for C. Okay, if I count about 8 hands up. How many of you would say A, who have already come back? 1. How many of you say that they want to come back and they know what they want to do? Okay, about similar number of B and C over here. But to let you know what happened was that there were not lot of non-respondents, of course, who may be happy the way they are. Ani ke hote ronu hai, khush hi hote. Ji aayi thi. Of the 3 options who have given, the ones who have responded, 70% responded for C. They want to come back, but they do not know what to do when they come back. So, the story is such that for us it's a comma. Now we have to do some hand holding for those students who wish to come back, and we have to see what is the path for them. I hope you're getting my point. So before you go, you make a little thought process on that also. Whether you want to stay back over there, whichever the country that you're going. This is not only USA gathering today. I'm sure there are people going to UK, Australia, Germany. I've seen the Google sheet that the students have filled. Make a little thought process on what you want to do. થોડો શું હતે પેરેન્ટ્સ કે ઘણી વખત છોકરા ઇમોશનલી ચોંદા વ્યાસી તો પાછા અચીબો 2 વર્ષ ભણીને સી પાછા અચીબો. If you know what you're going to do, I think it's better to discuss. whatever it is, it's good to have, even if it's a hard discussion, it is good to discuss because experience of your parents will also help you. This is my message to students. And today's gathering definitely is more, joko Sudhir bhai jo joko experience hai, actually 40 plus years, am I right? 40 plus years जो जो को एक्सपीरियंस है अन में घना बधा उतार चढ़ाव नेरींदा वेता वीज़ा रिलेटेड. So there are a lot of students who are going this fall. How many of you going this fall? Good number. So हाणे जो visa process would be in the streamline. So you can definitely, Sudhir bhai जो office में वंदा तो naturally you will have to give him a check. तो जो को लक्ष्य ना लालन च्या ने डॉक्टर लालन च्या के जटलो खपे एटलो घने के नो तो आओ जाती आज लूट लो जितना भी चाहिए सुधीर भाई को. Because definitely his every word that he speaks, I'm not talking about only visa related, but every word that he speaks comes out of great experience, and he doesn't talk only visa, he will talk many other things also. And the second part of the session, that is the 5 panelists who are there. Some of them have recently gone in 218, some have gone in 216, some in 215. So we have representations from different years. They will be sharing with you many, many different aspects. And at the end of the session, kadach ahi na vicharya hunda, atlo information, avate maldo, ke avate bow nava questions obha the vanda. And we want that you raise questions. May not be today, maybe later. And there are 2-3 things that I would like to say before I wind up. One is, we appreciate if the student calls up and talks to us. How many of you need your mother to talk to us or your father to talk to us? How many of you? Hate koi hath upar nahi kare. But asa ke phone made mummy jane papai ja jachi na. Mostly mothers. Mostly mothers. You have applied, you already finished, some of you finished your graduation. Some of you finished so many rounds of interviews. પણ જ્યારે સમાજ સાથે વાત કરે છે તો કોરેલા અચકાટ છે તો એ જ ખબર નહીં. We don't know why. Maybe you're scared of us. It's good you're scared because then you know that you can't talk nonsense. You can have a foolish question. That's okay. That we are okay with that also. But ask your questions. If you don't ask, who's going to ask? Your mother. ઘણી વખત ફોર્મ ભરેલા કને મમ્મી ફોન કહીએ. પણ એ ફોર્મ में આને ही નતો થયા હું નતો. Ask them. Why are you filling the form for your child? અને કે પણ કે ખબર પણ નહીં કોરો એન્ટર કરે જો કોરો ખોલે જો હે. They are struggling. I'm happy that they're learning, but not in this way. Teach them. Be along with them and train them if you want to. So this is a very common grievance that we have, that come out and talk. Doesn't matter. ક્યારેક ਅਸੀਂ abruptly answer કહ્યું. Maybe sometimes we tell you that call up later. Maybe we do not respond to your phone call. That's fine. Ask your questions yourself. That is very important. The second part that I wanted to clarify was what is the media? Yes, all of us, Dr. Lalan, Bimal bhai, Hemal bhai, we all want to know how many of you have come through what source of information? Was it WhatsApp message? Can you raise your hand if you've come through a WhatsApp message? Okay, how many of you through Khabar Patrika? How many of you through social media? FB or wherever you saw the... Okay, so can we say it's equal? Patrika and the WhatsApp? Okay. How many non-KVO present over here who are not KVO? Please raise your hand, it's okay. You're most welcome. Are you? I thought you are KVO. Okay, so about 4 students who are non-KVO. So I would just like to, we will continue the discussion. Right now, for this moment, I will just put a full stop because it will be good to go ahead with the rest of the journey. And I think they are important members. जो को पांजे समाज जा छोकरा आई अमेरिकन कंपनी साथे कम कहींदा वे रात जो जॉब कहींदा वे दिवस जो पास साथे आते sharing of information कहीं था. And we are always very fortunate. I would just like to give a very big hand to these 5 members. Not because they've come here as panelists. I'll tell you what all the little things that they do. Asi kahiyu ta edo nae. Asi ta kahi na hubo, joko bhi kahi na hubo. But I'm telling you, they are doing more than what we would have done. Avani ji age mein nahi kyo edo kami loko kahi ta. 2 days back, one of them asked me, ma'am, hall arrangement jo ki kare jo hai, tasi panelist is telling me. I'm ready to go and do it. I don't know where is he. He's down. He came here for all the arrangements. Ahin joko bhi chai pani pida, ane sanjo dinner ganda, have arranged chair te bathayo, the screen that you are seeing, everything has been arranged by him. Of course, he was in touch with us as for the numbers and all those things. Looking at all the other things, even asai jo koi registration sheet ne ryota, Jainam, where's Jainam? Jainam prepared, finalized the sheet in whatever format we required. Editha Meet was helping me with the Meet. Please raise your hand. He helped me with the program planning. So these are not the ones who are just here. They are not here just to give a speech. In fact, Ishan, he has gone in 2016 or 17, I think. Till now, the final sheet which will go abroad for host family, he is the one who will make the final sheet, even now. So I feel more than us doing anything for them, we are getting things in return. Not everybody does it. Hatepan joko bhi volunteers ke nere aayi they are the ones who have given us the time. Not every student also gives this kind of time. So let's applaud for the volunteers also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ila Dedia. Yeah. Warm welcome, Hetal Bhai Pasid, Secretary of KVO Seva Samaj, sitting on our extreme right. I would also like to welcome Dr. Preeti Satra. Please raise your hand so that audience can see you. And Dr. Surendra Satra. I would now request the dignitaries. Dr. Sudhir Shah can sit on the dais. We want to still hear a lot from you, other members. We will now request our stars and diamonds, our panelists, to join us on the dais. Yeah. Before that,
just for a second, એક વાત કહેવાની છે કે આ મહિનામાં on 5th of April, we lost our secretary, Dr. Praful Gadda. By profession doctor હતા, very young, very dynamic. અને just 1st અને 2nd એપ્રિલમાં જે આપણે કરિયર સેમિનાર કર્યું એમાં સેવા સમાજ તરફથી, ઇટ વોઝ અ જોઈન્ટ ઇવેન્ટ, મણિબેન શિવજી કન્યા કેળવણી ફંડ અને સેવા સમાજ. તો એમાં હી વોઝ પ્લેઇંગ અ વેરી ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટલ રોલ. અને ઘણા વર્ષો થયા આપણા મેડિકલ સેવા સમાજની એક મેડિકલ કમિટી છે. એ મેડિકલ કમિટીમાં એ સેવા આપતા હતા, સેઇંગ દેટ એવરી વેનસડે બધા ડૉક્ટરો મળે અને જે પણ રિલીફનું કામ કરવાનું હોય ઇન ટર્મ્સ ઓફ મેડિકલ, એટલે સેવા સમાજ માટે એક બહુ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ અંગ હતું એ. અને એ ટીમમાં ખરેખર આપણા 4 જણા હતા. લકીલી વી હેવ ડૉક્ટર રમેશ ડેડિયા, અવર પાસ્ટ પ્રેસિડેન્ટ હિયર, અને ડૉક્ટર લાલન, ડૉક્ટર મુકેશ અને ડૉક્ટર પ્રફુલ. We lost him, and as a part of, in ek man rupe, I will request everyone to stand for a minute. Thank you. Astu. Om Shanti. Thank you, Hetal Bhai, for reminding, and thank you, Sanjay Bhai, for reminding this things. Harish Bhai, come ahead. So he is one of the not
I would like to welcome Meet Veera. Please join us on the dais. Big round of applause for our panelists. Sagar Nishar, Priyank Gala. Please don't stop clapping. Put your hands together. Milay Haria. Jainam Gala. Where is Dr. Sudhir Shah? Yes, sir. Yeah. Everyone can see his dress code. He is a brand ambassador of, sending everyone to higher education abroad. Dr. Sudhir Shah, he's an immigration expert. Already we've seen that he has done his doctorate in law and he's practicing law, sir, from 30 years. He's been guiding students for more than 40 years to travel abroad. 52. More than 52 also. Golden Jubilee is already done. The next phase is going on. USA ના F1, M1, J1 સ્ટુડન્ટ વિઝા અંગે સંપૂર્ણ માર્ગદર્શન આપે છે. રાષ્ટ્રીય પરિષદોમાં વાર્તાલાપ આવેલ છે અને ઇમિગ્રેશન કાયદાઓ પર ઘણા લેખ અને પુસ્તકો પણ એમને પ્રકાશિત કર્યા છે. So basically we can say that he is an expert in the visas, student visa and immigration and all other formalities needed for our children for higher education abroad. So let's hear what inputs he can give. He will be giving us from his more than 50 years of experience relating to the process. Thank you, sir. Please join us.
I would like to invite Dr. Chandrakant Lalan to felicitate Sudhir Shah. Now parking problem is solved, so I think so Sagar and Milay, please join us on the stage. Sir, please have a seat.
Thank you.
So first of all, we will start with the introduction. Okay. So first of all, I would like to invite Dr. Sudhir Shah to start with his speech, and please throw, because all of the full crowd which we are seeing today, the full house, maybe the name itself came in Patrika, Dr. Sudhir Shah. So all of you are waiting for your guidance. Over to you, sir.
I am puzzled. હું મૂંઝવણમાં આવી ગયો છું. મને કચ્છી આવડતું નથી, એટલે વિચાર થાય છે કે અંગ્રેજીમાં બોલું કે ગુજરાતીમાં બોલું કે પછી બેઉ મિક્સ બોલું. ઈલાબેને જે વાત કરી ને કે વિદ્યાર્થીઓ જે પરદેશ જાય પછી પાછા આવે કે નહીં અને એમને વિચાર કરવો જોઈએ. આવી જ એક સભા હતી, લગભગ 15-20 વર્ષ પહેલાંની વાત છે. મારું એક પુસ્તક હતું, ગ્રીન કાર્ડ ખરીદવું છે, એનું વિમોચન હતું. આપણા શહેરના બહુ એક જાણીતા વ્યક્તિને વિમોચન માટે બોલાવેલા. એમને સામાન્ય રીતે આપણે જેને બોલાવીએ વિમોચન માટે એ આપણા વખાણ કરે. એમને એમ કીધું કે સુધીરભાઈ દેશદ્રોહી છે, ભારતીયોને અમેરિકા જવાનો રસ્તો દેખાડે છે. એમને આના બદલે ઇન્ડિયન સિટીઝન ઉપર પુસ્તક લખું હતું. મેં પછી કહ્યું કે સાહેબ, ગયા વર્ષે જ જે આખી દુનિયામાં લોનો એન્સાઇક્લોપીડિયા ગણાય છે એ બટરવર્થ એન્સાઇક્લોપીડિયાના 6ઠું વોલ્યુમ એ મારું ઇન્ડિયન સિટીઝનશીપ ઉપર છે. અને ભારતીયો અમેરિકા જાય, કેનેડા જાય, સ્વિટ્ઝરલેન્ડ જાય, ન્યુયોર્ક, ગમે ત્યાં જાય દુનિયામાં, એ કે દેશદ્રોહી નથી બની જતા. તમે બધા કચ્છીઓ છો, કચ્છ છોડીને તમે મુંબઈ આવ્યા છો, મહારાષ્ટ્રમાં આવ્યા છો, તમે કચ્છને ભૂલી ગયા છો? તમે અહીંયા આવીને પ્રગતિ કરી છે અને કચ્છને ઊંચું લાવ્યું છે. કચ્છનો જ્યારે ધરતીકંપ થયો હતો ત્યારે તમે બધાએ કચ્છમાં ઊભા રહીને હજારો લાખો રૂપિયા આપી અને બધું વ્યવસ્થિત કર્યું હતું. એવી જ રીતે ભારતીયો જ્યારે પરદેશ જાય છે ત્યારે ઉલટાના ભારતને વધારે યાદ કરે છે. ત્યાંથી આપણું જે ફોરેન એક્સચેન્જ છે એ છલકાઈ કેમ ગયું છે? કારણ કે ઇન્ડિયન્સો જે ત્યાં ગયા છે એ લોકોએ ત્યાં કમાઈને પછી અહીંયા ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ કર્યું છે. એટલે તમે અમેરિકા જાઓ, ઇંગ્લેન્ડ જાઓ, કેનેડા જાઓ, વિશ્વમાં કશે પણ જાઓ, હા પાછા આવું તો બહુ જ સારું છે, પણ સમજો કે તમે ત્યાં જ રહીને પણ ભારતને મદદ કરો તો દેટ્સ ઓકે. હવે આપણે મૂળ વાત પર આવીએ. મારું આજનું વક્તવ્ય 3 ચીજમાં વિચારેલું છે: વાય અમેરિકા, હાઉ અમેરિકા અને ઇન અમેરિકા. હવે વાય અમેરિકા એટલે એવરીવન હેઝ એન અમેરિકન ડ્રીમ. હું નાનો હતો ને, 10 વર્ષનો, ત્યારે મેટ્રોમાં રવિવારે મોર્નિંગ શો થતા હતા, ટોમ એન્ડ જેરીના કાર્ટૂન. મિકી માઉસ. એટલે પછી મને ડિઝની વર્લ્ડ જોવાનું મન થાય, ડિઝનીલેન્ડ જોવાનું મન થાય. થોડો મોટો થયો અને લોરેન હાર્ડીના પિક્ચરો જોવા લાગ્યો, એટલે એ પણ ત્યાં મને અમેરિકામાં જવાનું મન થયું. પછી કાઉબોયના પિક્ચર જોવા લાગ્યો, એટલે ટેક્સાસમાં જવાનું મન થયું. કોલેજમાં ગયો એટલે પછી એમ થયું કે હાર્વર્ડમાં ભણવું તો કેટલું સારું. અને હું તમને કહું, હું સૌથી પહેલાં અમેરિકા ગયેલો ત્યારે હું હાર્વર્ડ યુનિવર્સિટી જોવા ગયેલો. મને ત્યાં આગળ ભણવાનું ખૂબ જ મન થયેલું. મેં વિચાર કરેલો કે અહીંયા હાર્વર્ડમાં 6 અઠવાડિયાનો જે કોર્સ છે એ હું કરું, પણ એ વખતે મારી પરિસ્થિતિ એવી નહોતી. કદાચ આવતા વર્ષે હું જવાનો છું. એટલે હાર્વર્ડમાં ભણવા જવાનું મન થયું. પછી થોડો મોટો થયો, યુવાન થયો, તો માર્લિન મોન્રોને જોવાનું મન થયું. પછી વોલ સ્ટ્રીટમાં ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ કરીને કરોડો રૂપિયા કમાવાનું મન થયું. લાસ વેગાસમાં જઈને અને છેલ્લે એમ થયું કે નહીં, સ્વતંત્રના દેશમાં જવું જ જોઈએ. એ દેશ એ ખરેખર સ્વતંત્ર છે. હું લગભગ 60 વાર અમેરિકા ગયો છું. અને જ્યારે હું અમેરિકાના એરપોર્ટ પર પગ મૂકું છું તો યુવાન બની જાઉં છું. 15-20 વર્ષ મારા એકદમ ઉડી જાય છે અને મને કંઈક કરી નાખવાનું મન થાય છે. એક વિદ્યાર્થી તરીકે તમને શું વિચાર આવતા હશે? તમે કંઈ ડિઝની વર્લ્ડ જોવા અમેરિકા નહીં જવાનો, કે લાસ વેગાસના કસિનોમાં જુગાર રમવા નહીં જવાના, ગોલ્ડન ગેટ બ્રિજ પણ જોવા નથી જતા, નાયગ્રા ફોલ્સ જોવા પણ નથી જતા. વિદ્યાર્થીઓ શું કામ જાય છે? કારણ કે અમેરિકા એક સ્વતંત્ર દેશ છે અને ત્યાંની યુનિવર્સિટીમાં ભણતા તમારામાં સેલ્ફ કોન્ફિડન્સ આવે છે, ઇન્ડિપેન્ડન્સ આવે છે અને વિશ્વના બધા જ દેશના લોકો આવેલા હોય છે, સ્ટુડન્ટો, એટલે ક્રોસ કલ્ચર થાય છે. યુ લર્ન so many things from so many other countries' students. એજ્યુકેશનલ પ્રોગ્રામ ત્યાંનો એવો હોય છે કે તમારે આપણે ત્યાં તો એક ફિક્સ હોય છે, પણ અમેરિકામાં મેં જોયું છે કે તમે એન્જિનિયરિંગનું કરતા હો ને ડાન્સ શીખવો હોય તો એ પણ તમે કરી શકો, મ્યુઝિક કરવું હોય તો એ પણ કરી શકો, એક્ટિંગ પણ શીખી શકો. એટલે એ પ્રોગ્રામને એટલી બધી સગવડ હોય છે, એટલા માટે તમે લોકો ત્યાં જાઓ છો. Opportunities to make great new friends and meet new people whom you never would have encountered in India. અહીંયા તમને કોઈ જાપાનીઝ છોકરો મળશે સ્ટુડન્ટ, કે ચાઇનીઝ યુવતી મળશે, ફ્રેન્ચ માણસ મળશે, જર્મન મળશે? નહીં મળે. જ્યારે અમેરિકામાં ભણશો તો તમને બધા મળશે, તમે એ લોકો જોડે હળશો ભળશો, એ લોકોની સંસ્કૃતિ જાણશો અને એ લોકો આગળથી પણ ઘણું બધું શીખશો. યુ વિલ બી ઇન ધ લેન્ડ ઓફ પ્લેન્ટી એન્ડ કન્ટ્રી ઓફ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી. અમેરિકા તક અને છતનો દેશ છે, અને એટલે તો 1492માં જ્યારે કોલંબસે અમેરિકા ખંડની શોધ કરી ત્યારથી યુરોપ, ઇંગ્લેન્ડ અને પછી તો આખી દુનિયાના લોકો ત્યાં જવા લાગ્યા છે. Enhancement in career opportunities in the global marketplace. જે છોકરાઓ અહીંયાથી અમેરિકા જતા હશે ઓર જવાની ઈચ્છા ધરાવતા હશે, એ દરેકના મનમાં એવું હશે કે હું જો ન્યુયોર્કમાં ભણીશ, હું કોલંબિયામાં ભણીશ, તો પછી મને જિંદગીમાં આગળ સારો જોબ મળશે, સારી નોકરી મળશે, સારા પૈસા મળશે. 1949-50માં આપણા દેશમાંથી 1359 છોકરાઓ અમેરિકા ભણવા ગયા હતા, અને ગયા વર્ષે 1,99,000 ઇન્ડિયન સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ અમેરિકામાં ભણવા ગયા છે. અમેરિકામાં જે ફોરેન સ્ટુડન્ટો છે એમાંના 21% ઇન્ડિયન્સ છે. એટલે આપણા વિદ્યાર્થીઓ હવે ઉચ્ચ શિક્ષણ મેળવવા માટે અમેરિકા ભણવા જાય છે. મેજર ફિલ્ડ ઓફ સ્ટડીઝ છે, જુદા જુદા વિષયો લોકો પસંદ કરે છે, પણ ઇન્ડિયન સ્ટુડન્ટ્સોમાંથી લગભગ 36.8% એ લોકો કોમ્પ્યુટર સાયન્સ અને મેથેમેટિક્સ માટે અમેરિકામાં જાય છે, 29% એન્જિનિયરિંગ માટે અને 13% બિઝનેસ અને મેનેજમેન્ટ માટે જાય છે. એટલે આ સબ્જેક્ટ્સ આપણા ઇન્ડિયન સ્ટુડન્ટ્સોને વધુ પ્રિય છે. અને આ બધા સબ્જેક્ટ 23 સબ્જેક્ટ છે. સાયન્સ, એન્જિનિયરિંગ, મેથેમેટિક્સ, આ બધા એ 23 સબ્જેક્ટ આપણા ઇન્ડિયન સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ વધારે લે છે. હવે આ તો અમેરિકા શા માટે જવું એ મેં તમને જણાવ્યું, પણ અમેરિકા જવું હોય તો કેવી રીતે જઈ શકાય? સૌ પ્રથમ તો અમેરિકા, મારો પર્સનલ તમને એક્સપિરિયન્સ કહું. 1979માં હું રશિયા ગયો હતો, ઈસ્ટ યુરોપિયન કન્ટ્રી ગયેલો, લંડન અને રોમ ગયેલો હતો. એડવોકેટનું ડેલિગેશન હતું. એટલે મને થયું કે હવે હું અમેરિકા જાઉં. એટલે બીજા વર્ષે મેં અમેરિકા જવાની અરજી કરી, અને પછી થયું કે હું લોયર છું તો પછી અમેરિકા જાઉં છું તો ત્યાંના એટર્નીઓને મળવું, ત્યાંની કોલેજો જોવું, જજોને મળવું. એટલે બધાને મેં કાગળ લખ્યા તો બધાએ બહુ પોઝિટિવ જવાબો આપ્યા. પણ એક લો ફોર્મને એવું લાગ્યું કે મેં એને ત્યાં સર્વિસ માટે એપ્લિકેશન કરી છે, એટલે એ લોકોએ લખ્યું કે સોરી, નો પોઝિશન અવેલેબલ. મેં આખી ફાઇલ ભેગી કરેલી, ઇન્ટરવ્યૂમાં ગયો. પહેલાં ઓફિસરે મને પૂછ્યું કે વાય યુ વોન્ટ ટુ ગો ટુ USA. બધાને પૂછે છે, આ સવાલ પહેલો હોય છે. એટલે મેં કીધું કે લાસ્ટ યર આઈ હેડ બીન ટુ ધીસ કન્ટ્રીઝ, નાવ આઈ વોન્ટ ટુ સી યોર કન્ટ્રી એન્ડ બિકોઝ આઈ એમ એન એડવોકેટ આઈ વુડ લાઇક ટુ મીટ યોર એટર્નીઝ. મને કે વોટ ઇઝ ધ પ્રૂફ? એટલે મેં આખી ફાઇલ આપી, એને ખોલી, અને પહેલો જ કાગળ પહેલો, સોરી, નો પોઝિશન અવેલેબલ. સાહેબ શું થયું ખબર છે? બોક્સિંગ રિંગમાં તમે લડવા ઉતર્યા હો, બોક્સિંગ કરવા, ને તમારો સામેવાળો તમને એક નોકઆઉટનો પંચ મારે તો તમે કેવા ચક્કર ખાઈને પડી જાઓ. મારી દશા ખરેખર એવી થયેલી હતી. મેં આખી કોર્ટમાં ગજાવેલું હતું કે હવે તો હું આ વર્ષે અમેરિકા જવાનો. જજોની ચેમ્બરમાં જઈને મળી આવેલો અને કીધેલું કે સર આઈ એમ ગોઈંગ ટુ USA, તમને કંઈ હોય તો કહો મને. હવે હું મોડું શું દેખાડું, મારે તો વિઝા રિજેક્ટ થયા. 10 દિવસ સુધી હું ઘરની બહાર નહોતો નીકળ્યો. પછી મેં અમેરિકાના ઇમિગ્રેશનના કાયદાના પુસ્તકો મંગાવ્યા અને પછી મને જાણ થઈ કે તમે જ્યારે યુએસના બિઝનેસ, ટુરિસ્ટ કે સ્ટુડન્ટ વિઝાની અરજી કરો છો ત્યારે કોન્સ્યુલર ઓફિસરે અમેરિકાનો ધી ઇમિગ્રેશન એન્ડ નેશનાલિટી એક્ટ 1952ની કલમ 214B હેઠળ એવું ધારી લેવું પડે છે કે તમે બિઝનેસમેન નથી, ફરવા નથી જવા માગતા, ભણવા નથી જવા માગતા, આ બહાનું કાઢીને તમે અમેરિકામાં ઘૂસવા જાઓ છો અને તમારી આગળ અમેરિકા જવા આવવાના, રહેવા ખાવાના, પરચુરણ ખર્ચાના પૈસાની પૂરતી જોગવાઈ છે. તમે ત્યાં નોકરી કરવા નથી માગતા, કામ ધંધો કરવા નથી માગતા અને તમારા પોતાના દેશમાં તમારા કૌટુંબિક અને નાણાકીય સંબંધો એટલા ગાઢ છે કે તમને અહીંયા પાછા ખેંચી લાવશે. હવે જ્યારે પેલો કાગળ એને દેખાયો કે નો પોઝિશન અવેલેબલ, એટલે બટ નેચરલ છે, એને ધારી લીધું હશે કે હું નોકરી કરવા જાઉં છું, એટલે મારા વિઝા રિજેક્ટ થયા. પણ પછી જ્યારે હું આ સમજ્યો અને મેં એ રીતે પછી અરજી કરી તો મને વિઝા મળ્યા. એટલે તમે સ્ટુડન્ટ તરીકે જો અમેરિકા જવા ઈચ્છતા હો તો તમારે તમારી શું શું જરૂરિયાત છે. તમારામાંથી કેટલાએ સ્ટુડન્ટ વિઝા મેળવ્યા છે? કોઈએ સ્ટુડન્ટ વિઝા મેળવ્યા જ નથી? કોઈ અમેરિકા ગયું જ નથી? હવે જવાના કોણ છે? ઓકે, when you apply for a student visa, the first condition is that you should be proficient in English language, because education in America, in all universities, is imparted in English. And therefore, to show that you know English very well, you have to either give TOEFL exam or IELTS exam. And the more marks you get, more bands you have, the better chances to get admission and visa. Once you give this exam, then you have to apply for admission into a university. And university requires you to submit an essay or a statement of purpose, in which you have to say that why you want to go to that particular university, why you want to study that particular course, why only America, why not any other country, what have you been doing up till now, how far you have studied, what are your future plans. All this you have to state in that essay or statement of purpose. તમારામાંથી કેટલા લોકોએ આ જે જવાના છે એ લોકોએ આ એપ્લિકેશન કરેલી છે? અને કેટલા લોકોએ સાચું કહેજો જાતે સ્ટેટમેન્ટ ઓફ પર્પસ કે એસે લખેલો છે? વાહ, કચ્છીઓ ઓનેસ્ટ છે. બાકી મોટા ભાગના સ્ટુડન્ટો છે ને આ બધા એસે, સ્ટેટમેન્ટ ઓફ પર્પસ, એજ્યુકેશનલ કન્સલ્ટન્ટ, વિઝા કન્સલ્ટન્ટ એ લોકો આગળ લખાવે, કાં તો પેલી એની બધી બુક્સ આવે તો એમાંથી કોપી કરતા હોય છે. જો તમે એવું કરશો તો તમારી એપ્લિકેશન કદાચ ડિનાય થશે, કારણ કે પ્રોફેસરો જે લોકો આ તપાસતા હોય છે એ લોકોને બરાબર ખબર હોય છે કે આ સ્ટુડન્ટનો પોતાનો લખેલો છે કે કોઈએ બીજા કોઈએ લખી આપેલો છે. અને તમે કશામાંથી ઉતારો કર્યો હોય ને, જેને આપણે પેલ્ગરિઝમ કહીએ, તો તમારા દાંડિયા ડૂલ. પછી તમારે એ દેખાડવું પડે કે તમે જે ટ્યુશન ફી જે છે, અમેરિકામાં રહેવા ખાવાનો જે બહુ મોટો ખર્ચો આવે છે, એના તમારી આગળ પૈસાનો બંદોબસ્ત છે. તમે આ બધું દેખાડો અને પછી અરજી કરો. હવે અરજી તમારે એટલીસ્ટ જુદી જુદી 6 થી 10 યુનિવર્સિટીમાં કરવી જોઈએ અને એક જ સ્ટેટમાં નહીં કરવી જોઈએ, કારણ કે નહીં તો ઓફિસરને એમ લાગે કે આ સ્ટેટમાં તમારું કોઈ સગું રહેતું હશે એટલે તમે ત્યાં ભણવા જવા ઈચ્છો છો. એટલે તમારે જુદી જુદી સ્ટેટમાં અરજી કરવી જોઈએ. પછી તમને જ્યાંથી એડમિશન મળે, ફોર્મ I-20 આવે તો તમે સિલેક્ટ કરો કે તમારે કઈ યુનિવર્સિટીમાં જવું છે અને પછી એ માટે તમે સેવિસ ફી ભરો અને વિઝા એપ્લિકેશનનું ફોર્મ ભરો DS-160. આ ફોર્મમાં તમારે બધી વિગત સાચી લખવી જોઈએ અને સાચી બાબત છુપાવવી ન જોઈએ. આના 2 કારણ છે. એક તો હવે આ કોમ્પ્યુટર આવ્યું છે એટલે બધી ચીજ રેકોર્ડ થઈ જાય છે. તમે આજે જે ફોર્મ ભર્યું હશે એ 50 વર્ષ પછી પણ પેલા ઓફિસરને જોવું હશે તો જોઈ શકશે. એટલે તમે કંઈ ખોટું લખ્યું હશે તો પકડાઈ જશો. અને તમે કંઈક ખોટું જણાવ્યું હોય અને તમને પછી વિઝા મળે, અમેરિકામાં જાઓ, જોબની એપ્લિકેશન કરો કે બીજા કશાની એપ્લિકેશન કરો તો તે વખતે પણ કદાચ પકડાઈ જાઓ. એટલે વિઝા એપ્લિકેશન ફોર્મ DS-160માં ખોટું બિલકુલ લખવું ન જોઈએ. આ થયું. પછી ઇન્ટરવ્યૂમાં તમે જશો. અમેરિકામાં બધા કેઝ્યુઅલ બહુ હોય છે. યુનિવર્સિટીના કેમ્પસમાં, કોલેજમાં છોકરાઓ શોર્ટ્સ પહેરીને આવે છે, ટી-શર્ટ પહેરીને જાય છે. પણ તમે વોલ સ્ટ્રીટમાં જશો ને તો તમને બધા ત્યાં આગળ સૂટ પહેરેલા દેખાશે અને એ પણ ડાર્ક કલરના સૂટ. તમે જો ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ માટે જશો અને તમે જો કે ગમે તેવા કપડાં પહેર્યા હશે ને તો પેલો ઓફિસર તમને પૂછશે, હાર્વર્ડ ઓર હોલિવૂડ? એટલે ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ આપવા જાઓ ત્યારે બરાબર ડ્રેસ કરીને જજો. અને ફેરો ફેરો અર્જુન ફેરો ફેરો કોન્ફિડન્સથી જજો. મોટાભાગના વિદ્યાર્થીઓ છે ને બહુ હોશિયાર હોય, અંગ્રેજી ભાષા પણ બહુ સરસ આવડતી હોય, સારી યુનિવર્સિટીએ એડમિશન આપેલું હોય, પણ પછી જ્યારે ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ આપવા જાય અને એમનો નંબર આવે ત્યાં સુધી વાટ જોતા બેઠા હોય તો વિચાર કરે કે મને વિઝા મળશે કે નહીં મળે, મને શું સવાલ પૂછશે. અને આગલા જો 2-4 જણના વિઝા રિજેક્ટ થયા હોય તો એમની ગભરામણ વધી જાય. અને એટલે પેલા ઓફિસરને તમે જ્યારે ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ આપવા જાઓ ત્યારે ન થાય કે આ છોકરો ગભરાય કેમ છે, આ છોકરી આટલી થરથર કાપે કેમ છે, જવાબ આપતા કેમ થાય છે, જરૂર કંઈક ખોટું હશે તો તમારા વિઝા ડિનાય થશે. એટલે ગો વિથ કોન્ફિડન્સ અને જ્યારે ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ આપો ત્યારે ઓફિસરની સામે એની આંખમાં આંખ મેળવીને જવાબ આપજો. જોકે ઓફિસરો તમારી સામે જોતા જ નથી, એ લોકો આમ ટાઈપ જ કર્યા કરતા હોય છે અને તમને સવાલ પૂછતા હોય છે, પણ એમની નજર બહુ ચક્કર હોય છે, એટલે આમ ત્રાસી આંખે જોઈ લેતા હોય છે કે તમે શું કરો છો. એટલે તમારે તો એની સામે જ બરાબર જોવાનું, ત્રાટક કરતા હોય એવી રીતે કરવાનું અને એકદમ કોન્ફિડન્સથી જવાબ આપવાના. કોન્ફિડન્સ આને કહેવાય. અને you are not properly dressed unless you have a smile on your face. હું બધા સ્ટુડન્ટોને કહું છું કે તમે જ્યારે ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ આપવા જાઓ અને કોન્સ્યુલેટમાં એન્ટર થતા હો તો ધીરેથી વિસલ મારો. તમે જો વિસલ મારશો ને તો પછી તમારું મોઢું એકદમ ખુશખુશાલ લાગશે. અથવા તો તમારે કોઈ મનગમતું ગાયન હોય ને તો એ ગણગણો તો પણ તમારા મોઢા પર ખુશાલી આવી જશે. સો તમારો ચહેરા પર જો ચિંતા હશે તો પહેલાંને કે થશે કે આમાં કંઈક દાળમાં કાળું છે. પણ તમે કોન્ફિડન્સથી જશો, ઓફિસરને ગુડ મોર્નિંગ કહેશો, સ્માઇલ આપશો, તો હી વુડ ફીલ કે યુ આર ઓકે. ડ્રેસનો ખાસ ખ્યાલ રાખજો. લેડીઝો છે ને ઘણીવાર લો નેકના બ્લાઉઝ ટી શર્ટ પહેરે છે, પછી દાગીનાનો ઠઠ્ઠારો કરે છે. છોકરાઓ પણ કંઈ ને કંઈ ચેન ને આ નથી. ધીસ ડિસ્ટ્રેક્ટ્સ ધી કોન્સ્યુલર ઓફિસર. એટલે બને ત્યાં સુધી દાગીના કે એવું બધું પહેરીને ન જાઓ, સિમ્પલ એઝ અ સ્ટુડન્ટ જાઓ. હવે શું સવાલ પૂછવામાં આવે છે સ્ટુડન્ટ વિઝાના ઇન્ટરવ્યૂમાં? તમારામાંથી કોણ ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ આપવા જવાનું હમણાં આવે? એક જ તું? ઓકે, યુ કમ હિયર. ટેક ધીસ. આપણે જરા, વોટ્સ યોર નેમ?
Pankti Savla.
Pankit Savla. Okay, Miss Savla, why you want to go to USA?
So USA has a very flexible curriculum for the courses that I want to choose. Like I want to go for environmental engineering along with some electives in management and chemical engineering.
Okay, but my question was why you want to go to USA? You could have said to study. Why this course you want to study in USA only?
Because of the flexible curriculum.
Can you not study this course in India?
India has this course, but like the electives that I want and the research that is going on in US is better.
What electives you want?
Chemical engineering electives mainly, like fluid dynamics and reaction engineering.
What's your TOEFL score?
108 out of 120.
And GRE?
319 out of 340.
How many universities you had applied to?
11.
How many admits?
I have received, right now I have received 2 accepts and the rest are reject, and I am waiting for replies from some.
So which university you prefer to go?
Stanford.
Why Stanford?
Because it's one of the top most universities in the world.
And who is going to finance you?
My family and my savings.
What do you mean by my family? Your father, mother, brother, sister?
Yes, father, mother and brother.
What are they doing?
So my father has a laboratory of his own. Mother is a homemaker, and my brother is doing a job in Accenture.
Okay. Are they paying tax?
Yes.
You brought their tax returns?
Yes.
Okay. And what will you do in your holidays?
Maybe some internship if.
Okay. And after your studies are over, what do you plan to do?
So I would like to come back to India and work work with my father in the lab, or maybe take some job elsewhere.
Why not work in America? You'll have better chances.
I would like to come back to India because of my family, and I love my family very much. So
if you like to come to India because your family is here, why are you going to America? You can study here.
Because of the curriculum.
Okay. Yeah, I'm granting her visa, but I'm telling it. See, you've done well.
Just to add one more point, Pankti is also a volunteer. Let's cheer her up for that. And she's a voracious reader. Whenever we have any activities like this, she would be in the activity, but whenever there is a waiting period, she has a book with her. I won't be surprised if she's carrying a book right now also. Thanks.
Pankti, you answered all the questions well, but my suggestion is that last question, that after your studies are over, what you will do. You said I would come back to India. Almost all students emphasize on this, that I will come back to India. Instead of that, you can say that my father has a good business here and I would like to join that. Or in my country, I have got tremendous. Don't mention that I will come back to India. આ તો પેલું આપણે કહીએ ને કે તમે અમેરિકા શા માટે જવા માગો છો, તો કહે કે હું ભારત પાછા આવવા માટે જઉં છું. So, but otherwise you have done it well, and I wish you all the best. I asked her so many questions. Normally the officers don't ask this many questions. They ask 3 to 4 questions, and if they are satisfied, they will grant the visa. They also nowadays do not look at the documents because they have found that many people are preparing fake documents and doing it. Do you know? I have recently learned that in Mehsana, they charge 50 to 60 lakhs of rupees, make fake documents for you, and see that you get PR of Canada. Now, if these things are increasing, then they will become more and more restrictive. US consulate has almost stopped looking at our documents because many were forging the documents and producing it. So they say that now we will not bother looking at your documents and trying to find out whether they are right or wrong, fake or true. We will ask you questions, see your passport, see your application, and then decide whether to grant you visa or not. But they will ask you 3 or 4 questions. If they are not satisfied, then they may ask you more questions. But normally not more than 4 or 5 questions. So don't be this thing. You have answered very well. Congratulations. I'll tell you one incident. I was traveling once in Russia, internal travel, I don't know, Moscow to St. Petersburg or whatever it is. And suddenly there was some defect in the engine and plane started shaking. The air hostesses came and took our plates and other things and said that please tie your seat belt and this. So I just clasped my hands and I started praying. After 5-10 minutes everything was okay. So a Russian lady sitting next to me said, "You are so fortunate." I said, "Why?" She said, "In such circumstances, you can pray, you can remember your God and ask for help. We Russians, we are atheists. So whom should we ask for help?" So it's good to pray. Prayer gives you strength. But if you feel that I will go to Mandir or Derasar every day and then I will pass, no. You have to study also. And Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he also gave this advice to Arjuna that lastly remember, do not speak lie. These are the 5 basic things which you need to get a student visa. I-20, financial capability, non-immigrant intention, family and financial ties in your home country, self-confidence. If you have all these 5 things, you are bound to get your student visa. Now, those who will be getting visa and going to USA, I would like to give them some advice. I have observed that our Indian students, not only students, our Indians also, who go and settle in America, students who go to study there, they do not mix up with others. Yeah, it's good that you make friends in your own community, people from your own country. But you are going to America. You are going there to get exposure. So if you do not mix with them, then you do not get an opportunity to find out how a Japanese person behaves, What are the feelings of a Japanese boy? German, how do they behave? Korean, how do they behave? So try to mix up with people. Another thing which I find is that our students are shy in talking with professors. American professors in American universities, they are very open-minded and they welcome students to come and ask them questions. So don't feel shy, don't be afraid of the professors. Go to them, ask them any questions which comes in your mind, and that is how you will learn more and more. Now, when you write emails, it becomes a permanent record. WhatsApp messages, they form a permanent record. So be very, very careful, because we have found that many students who have been working illegally on Saturday, Sunday or holidays, and then they are asking their employer, I have completed cleaning room number 5, now where should I go? They ask these questions on email and the employers replies. And when they come to India to meet their parents, and when they are going back, their mobiles are checked, and if they find such things, they are not allowed to enter America because they have been working illegally. So please be very careful as regards what you write in your emails or on your WhatsApp. Don't think of working there illegally. Your parents are spending lakhs of rupees after you, and just to earn few dollars, if you will work illegally even for an hour in America, and if you are caught, your career will come to an end. So please, please, please do not work illegally. You will be allowed to work for 20 hours in a week on your university campus. But everyone cannot find a job on university campus. There may be 500,000 students, but there may be only 50 jobs. So you may not get it. But then don't be tempted to work somewhere else, thinking that who is going to know, I will take the money in cash. Please don't do it. Another thing, in Canada now marijuana is legal. In America also in some part it is legal, some part it is not legal. People drink very freely there. Don't fall to those temptations. Don't smoke, don't drink, and no drugs. Because if you are found taking drugs, then also you will be deported. You are young students. You may like to watch blue films. I myself, I was watching them. But do not see blue films in America, and particularly child pornography. If you are caught watching child pornography or even transferring it to somebody, you will be sent to jail, and your whole life, your career will come to an end. So please beware. You are going there to study. Your parents have so much aspiration for you. They are thinking that my son, my daughter will study there, will do this and that, and will become a big person in future. But if you are tempted in these such small things, which youngsters are tempted, but please, please, please keep restraint and don't indulge in such things. Do not discuss politics. Politics and religion are two things which always brings quarrel. If I am from Congress and he is from BJP, and if we start discussing, within 5 minutes we will become enemies. If I am Muslim and you are Hindu, and we start discussing religion, we will start hating each other. So please do not discuss politics or religion when you are there as a student. And you may be vegetarian. You may not like non-veg food. But others, almost 75% of the world, they are non-vegetarians. So show respect to their foods. Don't say that, oh, chichi. Oh, don't do like this. This will also create bitterness. And students whose parents have funds, huge amount, about 7-8 crore rupees. There is a EB5 program, employment-based fifth preference category program. If investment is made in that EB5 program, then you can get a green card within about 2-3 years. So that's another thing. But please, when you are in America, mix up with everybody, talk with your professors, discuss questions with them. Don't watch any blue movie, pornographic movie. Don't drink, no drugs, no discussion about politics, no discussion about religion. Don't show any disrespect towards your colleagues who are eating non-veg. If you will do this, you will be very happy in America. America really is a great, great country. You will have tremendous opportunities there, and sky is the limit. College dropout Bill Gates is today world's richest person. Our Mukesh Ambani has studied in America. So you also can become that rich, that industrialist, if you behave properly and follow this small advice which I have given you today. And if you do not get your visa, if it is denied on the first occasion, don't give up. Try again. Try and try again. Mayuna, come to me. Thank you very much for listening to me so patiently. And at the end, when the question answer session is there, whatever questions you have, I'll be very happy to answer them.
We move forward to the important and most eagerly waited part of the program. Kachhi mein chu ne, ke parents will say ke they don't listen to us, but they will listen to their friends. Friends ke poche nej kahinda, friends jo suneta. So the panelists here are like friends for our young students aspiring to go abroad. So our first panelist, I would like to introduce Sagar Bharti Jethalal Meghji Nisar from Kutch Devpur, residing in Chembur. He has so many degrees. He has done bachelor's in banking and insurance from HR College 2016, MCom at 2018. He did his CS in 2016, then master's in management from France, master's in MSc in management from Germany. Then he has done financial modeling and valuation analysis, and recently he has cleared CFA level 3 in 2023, and he has also received Young Achievers Award 2022-23 from Indian Achievers Forum. So I would like to now request from Seva Samaj, Bimal Bhai and Haresh Bhai Gada to felicitate our today's first panelist, Sagar Nisar. The second panelist today is Priyanka Rekha Mukesh Talakshi Gala, Gam Desalpur, now Ghatkopar. He's a software development in Amazon Services USA, Masters in Information System from reputed Northeastern University, Boston from 2021. So a fresh graduate and working with a reputed Amazon company. So I would like to request Hemal Bhai Pasad and Sanjay Bhai Shah to felicitate Priyank. Our third panelist is Milay Bharti Hemant Nanji Haria, Gam Devpur, Matunga. He has worked at Amazon in Seattle, USA, and now he has come back to India and joined family business Symptom Manufacturing Sweets and Toffees. He is BTech in Mechanical Engineering from VJTI and done MS in Industrial Engineering from Purdue University in 2019. So now I would like to request Jiten Bhai Dedia and Dinesh Bhai to felicitate Milay. Dr. Ramesh Bhai Dedia. Our next panelist is Meet Alpa Girish Kalyanji Veera, Desalpur, Chechpokli. He's software development engineer, Actuity Brands Company, computer engineering from our own Shayan Anchor Kachi Engineering College, and he has done Masters in Information System from Northeastern University. I would like to request Dr. Lekha Visharia and Jayendra Bhai Chera to felicitate Meet. Now I would like to request Dr. Lekha Visaria to introduce Jainam.
Jainam Bhavna Bhavesh Lalji Gala, Gundala, Kopar Kherne, currently residing, working as an intern with Indian Institute of Chemical Engineers, BTech Chemical Engineering, SRM Institute of Science and Technology 2021, Masters in Advanced Chemical Engineering, the University of Manchester in 2022, Gold Medalist, International Golden Climate Environmental Project. He has received a gold medal for his project in Olympiad held in Kenya in 2013. He's a bronze medalist in International Turkish Language Olympiad held in Turkey in 2013. I would request Shubda Gala and Jayom to felicitate Jainam.
Now, without wasting time, we'll start with the panel discussion. And the first question is to Meet. Are you worried and whether it's the right time to go for overseas education? Over to you, Meet.
Right now, these are the questions that would be responded by them, which were already put in the Patrika ad. There are some more questions that we have also given them. But if you have any questions, you can write it. You have a pad provided. So you can, the writing pad, you can write down your question and send it across in the meanwhile, and we'll see whom to forward it to.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So, how many students here are worried right now? Just raise your hands. In any step of your process, whether it is deciding country, visa, everyone, right? I was also one of you guys when I was preparing for it. So it's completely normal. No worry about it. Everyone feels the same. Even the panelists here who are sitting here were feeling the same when they were applying for their visas, studying, etc., etc. So 3 golden rules whether to overcome this worry which are I follow personally, which help me a lot, which are research, react, and ask. So these 3 steps, if you follow with full discipline, with whole integrity, this question mark of whether are you worried will convert back to whether am I worried? Not at all, because this helps a lot, and it has helped me a lot for that as well. So first step number 1, which is research. All of you over here are going through each and every different steps, whether some are deciding which country to go to, what courses shall I follow. Some are there in between of their visa application. How shall I prepare for my visa application? Which form should I fill? What information are relevant, etc. Once the visas are approved, finding a good roommates becomes a very important aspect. So each and every steps comes with the question mark, which is how will I do that? So the only answer to it is research by yourself. Once, just take down the notepad, see what step you are at, just list it down and be as specific as you can. Don't just write, I am preparing for my visa. What difficulties are you facing when it comes to visa applications? What are the questions that you have? Just write it down. Once you write it down, it will be cleared in your own mind that yes, I have to check this marks. Once you have written down each and every aspect that okay, this is the question which I have, ask it. If you do not ask anything, it's not going to work for you and it will ruin everything. How do I ask anything? Everyone. Connect with other students who has already gone through it. Even me, my personal experience was, each and every small details I used to ask. I joined various different WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, KVO Seva Samaj helped me a lot, connecting with me to different KVO students who are studying abroad. Join groups, ask them as specific as you can. The catch over here is considering, see, what am I doing? If you ask general's question and you are just listening from what the answers you are getting, the opposite person will not even show interest in your questions. Be prepared with your counter questions as well. Ask questions, ask counter questions so that the opposite person who is answering you will be interested in clearing your doubts more easily, and he will also be able to share his own journey, what he has done to overcome such kind of situations. So that becomes the most important part. Again, asking does not mean that, again I want to bring up that point which Ila Aunty also brought, make students answer questions. I get lots of phone calls from parents that my son is doing this, my daughter is doing that, and what should he do or she do in such kind of situation. The first thing I say that just ask your son or daughter to just connect with me, and then we can share our details and go ahead. Because parents ask questions, we answer them. They understand, do not understand, we don't know anything. And they say something else to their sons and daughters. This creates lots and lots of confusion between the students, and eventually they become anxious, they become tensed, and they end up taking the wrong decisions. So students has to step up and ask questions and not their parents. Third important part is react. Once you have made the list, you have asked the questions, you have all the points in your hand. Now react means do not just simply say, okay, I got this solution and I will follow this. See that solution that you have got, how it is fitting in your scenario. The answers you will get will be very vague from internet, from other people. Just simply see how this solution fits into my perspective, into my problems which I am facing. Just follow these 3 steps and I am very much sure that each and everything will be sorted and there will be no reason to worry at all. The third most important thing is do not copy others. Right now there is a huge trend going on which I am seeing. Students just follow their friends. My friend will be going to this university to perform this course, I will also go. Even though he is not at all expertise in it. He will just simply say, no, I will also go abroad, do what he is doing. And I have this live experience with me. I have seen that people just simply follow They go there, they cannot cope up with the new environment because his expertise was not in place what his friend is doing, and he ended up just coming back to India, ruining his all 3 to 4 years which I spent over there. So don't just copy others.
Meet just 1 minute.
Yeah.
You can keep your questions with you. Dr. Lekha is coming around. She will collect the papers.
Thank you. I have also covered the point of connecting with other students when you ask your questions or doubts, whether you are worried, what next steps to take. The last point in this I would like to make is attend pre-departure orientation. This is most important when you are done with your visa applications, your visas are approved and you are all set to leave for the country where you want to go. Almost 80 to 85% of the universities attend this kind of sessions where you get an opportunity to meet different students who are also going along with you to perform the same course which you are in or different one. You get an opportunity to interact with them, saying that to get a chance to become roommates, flatmates, because nowadays what happened, people just communicate on Facebook, they meet directly in the United States and કોઈ ઉલટી ખોપડી જે રૂમમેટ્સ મળે હોય ને અને પોએ માથાકોટ ચાલુ થવાને. તો એ બહુ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ પોઈન્ટ છે કે you should attend this pre-departure orientation, meet the person with whom you are staying and go ahead with that. So once you do all these things, just follow this discipline, convert your worry from question marks to exclamation mark. I'm not worried at all. Be confident, trust yourself. So that's the point I wanted to make for this question. Can we have the next slide? Yes, again the most important question, whether it is the right time to go overseas for education. You might have seen lots and lots of information that jobs are going on, companies are doing layoffs, recession is about to hit, etc., etc. But the only thing is going overseas for studies. For me, there is no incorrect time. Each and every time when you decide to take this step is the correct time, no matter what is the situation of going there. So even I graduated in December 2020 when COVID was at its peak. The companies were going shut down, the companies were getting bankrupt, everything was at its peak. But I had this confidence in my mind that I know what I have done, I know my skills properly, I have done my research properly, I was so much confident and I ended up getting the job, and I'm still doing that on the same period. In January 2020, I got my first job and I'm still doing that successfully, even though it was a peak time and a huge financial recession was going on during that, for the pandemic point. The economic climate. I think we need to give an applause. Thank you. Now the second thing is whether the economic climate of the country you are planning to visit is correct or not. Right now, if you see, the whole world has been impacted by the war, by the economic recessions, etc., etc. But you just have to keep one thing in mind. In 2020, COVID was there. Right now, no one is talking about COVID right now. Everyone is talking about recession. Once you will be going right now in 2023 August, someone will be going next year. So you have to keep it in mind that you will be studying for 2 years. So you don't have to worry about this recession at the current present point of time. It will go, and in 2025, 26, America is the country or England is the country which will stand up. They are very huge countries and opportunities are there. The third point is, are the companies recovering from the pandemic effect? And my answer is yes, the companies are recovering. You will see layoffs, like Amazon has laid off this many people, Facebook, Meta. But the backstory of this is, I would like to make this point very clear, that during the pandemic, these are the only companies who hired 3 times or 4 times of what their capacity was. So, and the other companies, which are along with the mid-scale companies, which are the startup companies were there, they were not hiring during that time because they were facing huge difficulties. But now, since the post-pandemic structure, the business of these big companies also came to level of what they were doing in 2018 and 19. So the extra workforce that they are hired, they are letting go those kind of people who they hired during that point of time. So if you take the data, the extra hirings which they had done during COVID, the numbers they are laying off are exactly same to 90 to 95%. And the mid-scale companies which are there, they are hiring like crazy at this current point of time. Even my company is hiring like 5 to 10 employees each month. Even though the recession is coming, it's just an analysis that it might come, it might not come as well. But the companies are recovering. There are plenty of job opportunities. Even though people are getting laid off, for one layoff, there are 3 different opportunities which are waiting for them at the current market in United States. So no need to worry about that. And again, the hybrid and remote job structure. Post-pandemic, most of the companies have came up with this hybrid and remote. That means you just work from home, no need to come to office, which has eventually increased the number of job opportunities for different students. My permanent job role is work from home. It's been 2.5 years I'm working, and I've not went to office a single day. So it's a huge advantage for you guys that now the companies have started to follow this kind of structure where the opportunities will kick in. So just relax, no need to worry about the recession, no need to worry about the opportunities. There are huge and plenty of them are waiting around. And in conclusion, I would say it's up to you guys, all individual, which country you want to go, what are the climate, what are the opportunities that you have for the course that you have selected. You have to make list, weigh the advantage and disadvantage, and then make an informed decision. I guess 11 also made this point that it's up to you, that you have to weigh your thing and make an informed decision whether it's the country is correct for you or not, the course that you are selecting is correct for you or not. So that's all points that I wanted to make. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'm very much happy to answer everything that you have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meet. So we will have Sagar now.
Jai Jinendra. So I have a lot of stage fright, so just in case I shiver, just bear with me. If you can just go to the previous slide, just want to highlight 2 things. One is, if you see Masters in Management from ESCP Business School, I had a scholarship of 50%. Just want to highlight this because this is something I would be covering up, how you could apply for scholarship and get one. Also, if you see University of Southern California, I had a 100% scholarship there for a semester, and again I would be covering those in the next slide. Yeah. Understanding career goals. So, when we grow up, we, as a kid, we want to be, maybe a doctor, we see a plane, then we want to be a pilot. And, as you grow up in your careers, you might, want to go and work for Google and be a software developer. And then, eventually that might change. You might want, you might want to get into, data science and something else. And it keeps on changing as you grow up. Even adults, once they start working, they might not like what they are doing, and that is why it's very important to understand career goals. Okay, now also I see a lot of people, they want to work for a specific company. Let's assume you want to work for Amazon, and you just decide that you take the rankings of a lot of colleges, and you decide that top 100 colleges, let me select one, and you just get in. And then you say that let me graduate. Once I graduate, I'll prepare my CV, I'll apply for jobs and get into these specific companies, but doesn't happen. Why? Because you are not prepared altogether. So based on my experience, this is the specific flow which I follow. What I do is, first, if I want to work for a specific company, I go to LinkedIn and I see that, let's assume there are 10 people working in that specific company. I message them on LinkedIn, and basically everyone can do that. And then I ask them, okay, what does your job look like? What do you do in your day-to-day life? And your specific company, how do they hire? What skills are they looking for? And this helps me to clearly understand what the role is, whether I'm suited for that specific role or no, which courses should I study to get into that specific role, and certain companies have certain universities from which they hire. So again, that clarity I get upfront from them. So now I'm very clear that, okay, this company and this specific role needs these skills. These are the colleges they are hiring from, and I need to learn these specific courses. So I have a clear understanding, and that is when connecting with professionals come into play. Yeah. The second point is about researching about university. So once I understand, okay, this is the university I want to get into, what I do is I connect with the professors, and I first identify, what all professors are teaching, which all subjects they are teaching, what all they have done. So just to take an example of University of Southern California, wherein I was very clear I wanted to go there. Why? Because I looked into the professors. One of the professors was Professor Steve Moyer, and this guy was handling PIMCO fund worth 6-7 billions. 4 people managing approximately, so 1 billion is around 8,000 crores, so even assuming 4 billion, it's 32,000 crores managed by 4 people, and he was one of the professor. And in fact, I had read one of his books, which was on distressed securities. So when I went on to write the essay for that specific university, I mentioned that, how I wanted to get into private equity, how I had read this specific book, which, I found very interesting, and this specific professor was already teaching there. I also connected with the professor. I wrote, exchanged emails with them, and I was very clear. So when I was writing my essay, everything was upfrontly clear that, okay, that I want to do this. For this, this specific course is required. There's this professor who has done amazingly well in the real world, and I would like to learn under him. And when you compare this with other so assuming, let's take the point of staying away with consultants. So when you go to a consultant, what happens is, this consultant is writing essays for hundreds of students. He'll give you a template, and all you have to do is, fill in some basic details, make certain changes. So that essay versus you being very specific, very clear what you want to do. And that is how I upfrontly got a scholarship, full scholarship. A year in University of Southern California costs around $90,000 per year. If you take a semester, again that is $45,000, equivalent to 37 lakhs. Now if you spend 1 hour each day for 2 months, you would spend 60 hours. So the return on your time is, for 1 hour is 60,000 if you, end up getting a scholarship. And it's not a lot of efforts. All you have to do is, speak with people, understand what these people are doing, speak with professors, understand this course. Now what will happen is, certain times when, you have a perception that this specific career, I wanted to get into investment banking. And I thought it would be very, a lot of entertainment, very nice. I saw in movies, people in suits. I saw Wolf of Wall Street. I thought, oh, amazing life, amazing money. And when I understood how they actually work, they struggle for like 12 to 14 hours. I thought, well, can I do this? And that is why I shifted into private equity, which was very similar, very good money, but less efforts. So this will again provide you a lot of clarity. And connecting with mentors for internship and job. Let's assume let's take a theoretical example wherein you want to work for Google, you want to do software development, and now you have spoken with 10 to 15 people, and you started your course in that specific college, and now you're just about to complete your course. Now what will happen is, you would eventually want to do an internship or a job, and you already know 15-20 people, so you are already ahead compared to others who have, have no clue. And on the other hand, you exactly know what role you want to get into, what exactly is happening in that company. So again, a lot of, when you apply for a job, a lot of people do ask for a cover letter. So you can upfrontly tell that, I exactly know what you're looking for. I have the desired skill. I have everything technically you are looking for, and I'm a great fit for you. Compared to someone who has no clue what you're doing, already you are a milestone ahead. And throughout your career progress, if you get stuck anywhere, you can keep connecting with that specific person. You can treat him as a mentor, and maybe you can ask him for internships and jobs, and he'll be very happy to get, employ you. The reason is, today when I hire someone in my company, I want someone who can, fulfill that role. And finding that specific person is very difficult. He is upfrontly getting someone like you who has done your homework and are well prepared for that. So I think if you follow this specific route, it's amazing. And just on the last point, I would like to give you an example of why you should stay away from consultants. I had a friend who was very good in education and wanted to pursue education abroad. And then one day on, I think Facebook or WhatsApp, he saw an ad. There were like consultant, almost 150 universities coming in is something that was mentioned in that newspaper ad. And again, the event was in Tajland Ends, fancy hotel. You go up front there, and these people showcase you 10 to 15 universities. Now you think that, oh, amazing. And they tell you that, without even your GRE or TOEFL score or IELTS scores, they can upfrontly give you admission. And this, a friend of mine fell for that. He ended up doing a course in Canada, and no one knew that university altogether. Like, literally no one knew. He went there, completed his education, spent almost per year, I would assume $20,000, 2 years, $40,000 staying expenses. And then once he was out, finding a job, couldn't find any job. Had to come back, wasted his money. So I would suggest that, as a hard criteria, decide that, okay, in the top 100 universities is something I would like to do. You can further expand it if, beyond that 100, you find something very specific, very good university offering amazing courses. But I would avoid, just for the sake of going abroad, just taking any university is not a good solution, I would say. Yeah, after this, happy to answer questions, and thank you.
Jai Jirendra everyone, my parents la, students la, hello, hi. So next topic, sorry, Pela, thank you Elanti, Lax Uncle, for giving me this opportunity, and KVO Seva Samaj for the felicitation. Introduction में लखेलो वो ने सागर भी छे के वुल्फ ऑफ वॉल स्ट्रीट नेरिया अथी मरे नेरिया कम करेला उनमें एक लख्यो यहाँ के आउटस्टैंडिंग परफॉर्मेंस अवॉर्ड मल्यो वीपी थी आकोलेट्स मल्या हूँ मरे जो ही जाए 12 कलाक कम कयो वीकेंड्स जो कम कयो अमेज़ॉन एज अ नाम बहु वड्डो है कम ओंती वड्डो है ही है सो मुझो अज जो टॉपिक आए हाउ टू गेट इन बेस्ट ऑफ द यूनिवर्सिटीज सो अज जा स्टूडेंट्स ऑलमोस्ट ही फॉल में वने था एंड आई होप who लोग कोई मरे फिलक करे गेड़ा ही
No, all are not going this fall.
No, most of them are going in this fall.
Ask them how many are not going this fall. How many of you are going to go in future?
I would say 70-30. So 70 are already going. I hope you have done this. 30% ला करे ही आए आंके करो करे जो आए. So yeah, first research. मीच छे सागर छे research आंके करनी ज खपदी. आई कोरो रिसर्च कईंदा फर्स्ट रेप्यूटेशन सागर छे कॉलेज जी कोरो रेप्यूटेशन है कोरो रैंकिंग है कॉलेज स्ट्रक्चर पंक्ति छे फ्लेक्सिबल कोर्स होण खपे फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी होनी खपे यस फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी इन विच इन एले फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी कोरे में मुके जो करनु है मुके हम होंजा ज पैसा भरा बाकी जा पैसा हम को भरा एटले मैंडेटरी कोर्सेस ना होना खपे फ्लेक्सिबल इलेक्टिव्स होना खपे मुके ही करनु है अगर फॉर एग्जांपल केमिकल जो की करनो वो कू करेला मल दो सिमिलरली सो आऊँ नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न एटले सिलेक्ट किया वो क्योंकि उनमें वो इलेक्टिव्स जो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी भी नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न कॉलेज ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग में मुझे एडमिशन थियो बट अगर मुखे कूरी कॉलेज ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग थी अगर DSA जो कोर्स करनो वो आई वॉज मुखे पेटिशन करनी खपे वो अप्रूव थी है बट आई हैड दैट ऑप्शन नेक्स्ट अना वॉट एल्स कैन यू रिसर्च यू कैन रिसर्च द लोकेशन आऊँ सिलेक्ट किया वो बॉस्टन मीचे फ्रेंड्स के वे हलो फ्रेंड्स साथे रोबो मस्त रोबो पर्सनली मुके बॉस्टन थी बार न करनु वो 2 वर्ष में ठंडी एटली है स्नो ओटलो है मुझे बस री बात ना हुई तो आऊँ मुके बार न करनु वो एटले आऊँ कैलिफोर्निया शिफ्ट थे आऊँ ओडा जॉब गोते थे सेकेंड अना थर्ड पॉइंट सही स्टूडेंट सपोर्ट सर्विसेज कोरो सपोर्ट मले एज अ स्टूडेंट के काउंसलिंग थे वो मेंटल हेल्थ वेलबींग थे वो हेल्थ सर्विसेज होनी खपे ऑन कैंपस जॉब्स होना खपे पेमेंट कोरो आए सो दिस आर ऑल द थिंग्स यू कैन रिसर्च पोइ स्टूडेंट्स यू कैन रीच आउट मीचे लिंक्डइन ते रीच आउट कयो मड़े स्टूडेंट्स कोविड वक्ते ऑलमोस्ट एक्सेप्टिव हुई 90% एक्सेप्टिव हुई एंड वेरी मच रिस्पॉन्सिव एज वेल कि करेला वो ना गरेज वठायूं ऐसे कहीं पोइ and best and the main thing is admission requirements Dr. Shudev Shah cha like SOP mandatory है सागर छे कवर लेटर कोई यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में खाली रेज्यूमे ना कवर लेटर भी खपे तो हूँ मड़े रिसर्च कयो हूँ मड़े लखो सेकेंड पॉइंट आहे प्रिपरेशन फॉर एडमिशन्स अगेन रिपीटेटिव लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशंस खपे GRE टॉफिल थियो IELTS थियो मड़े कॉलेजेस में ना खपे बट यू कैन रिसर्च के कई कॉलेज में कोरो है ही ना थिए कि आंखे जो कॉलेज में वनू है होड़ा GRE अने टॉफिल ना GRE IELTS खपे इट इज़ वेरी प्रोबेबिलिटी बहु ओછી है काके टॉफल ऑलमोस्ट कॉलेजेस में गने गने था बट यू कैन रिसर्च इट्स नो हार्म थर्ड पॉइंट अगेन सेम स्टैंडर्डाइज टेस्ट एटले हुज GRE थे वो टॉफल थे वो कोरो स्कोर खपे कोरो स्कोर एज इन पंक्ति सॉरी 108 out of 120 it's a good score better score but what if like अगर उनके स्टैनफोर्ड में वनो है 115 जे नीचे गंदा ना not saying I'm so sorry okay उनके 115 ते नीचे ना तक करो कहीं ना ही हानी okay I'm just giving an example I'm sorry okay so just an example 115 is a big score आंके की अचिंदा 30 marks जो एक टॉफल जो वो वे listening 30 writing 30 मड़े में आंके almost 27-28 खपदाज हु मड़े preparations की कहिंदा so that is how you know your standardized test आई हुन जो कोरो sections आई हुनला करे की prepare कहिंदा कई exam mock exams दे सको for example Kaplan आए Princeton आए GRE जी पंजी वेबसाइट ते बहुत मॉक एग्जाम्स दे सको आई हु मड़े करे सको हुई मड़े स्टूडेंट्स आंके रिसर्च करनो है पेरेंट्स के नाए करनो द मेन थिंग पोए ग्रेड्स एंड GPA सो नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न जो ग्रेड जो वो 3.2 जे अबाउ खपे पंजे हिन में कॉलेजेस में आई डोंट थिंक सो कॉलेज ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग में GPA जो कंसेप्ट है इट इज़ राउंडेड ऑफ बट यू कैन यूज़ ऑनलाइन टूल्स आई कन्वर्ट करेला
Now they have GPA, CGPA, GPA.
Okay, I'm
SGPA.
very old then. Okay, sorry. मुझे टाने ना वो असी वो का स्कोर ते वन जाए अपलोड कहीं वा असा जा ट्रांसक्रिप्ट्स हु अपलोड कहीं वा नेरेला करे एंड देन कॉलेज में अप्लाई कहीं वा जो असा के रिपोर्ट मल्दी भी से सो बेसिकली मड़े कॉलेजेस जी डिफरेंट रिक्वायरमेंट्स हुए मड़े रिसर्च करनू खपतो मेन थिंग एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ extracurricular activities as in internships बहु students हेड़ा होंदा bachelor's ख़त्म थियो हलो US वनबो मास्टर्स ला करे हलो आउट ऑफ इंडिया वनबो एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ की ना है सो फॉर एग्जांपल मुझे केस में मुखे खुरी कॉलेज ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न जो एक बिजो सेक्शन है हुनमें वन्नू वो मुखे अज सुधी आऊं एप्लीकेशन के हुन जो एक्सेप्ट भी ना हलाया ने रिजेक्ट भी ना हलाया just because extracurriculars इतनी नहीं होता खुरी कॉलेज इज़ काइंड ऑफ आईवी लीग में अचवन है ही सो एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ आइन करो करे सको वॉलंटियरिंग एक्टिविटीज़ करे सको इंटर्नशिप्स करे सको आऊँ के जे सो मैं कॉलेज ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग थी वो हुन में रिडल करे ने का है इनोवेशन क्लब है हुन में एक बार प्रोजेक्ट्स करे सको इट्स लाइक मड़े में आंखे हेल्प थींदो इट्स नॉट कि भाई कम कयो पैसा कमायो ताईं थोड़ा ही ना एंड जो टेक्निकल नॉलेज भी क्लियर कईंदो विच यू कैन यूज़ मुझे इंटरव्यू टाणे लाइक जॉब इंटरव्यूज टाणे एंड लास्ट पॉइंट एसेज एंड रिकमेंडेशंस आई गेस डॉक्टर सुधीर शाह ऑलरेडी डिस्कस स्टेटमेंट ऑफ पर्पस SOP ChatGPT आए बट ना यूज़ करे जो ChatGPT नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न जो टूल है टर्न इट इन करे ने प्लेगरिज्म ला करे स्पेशली उन ला करे असा जा मड़े असाइनमेंट्स होते अपलोड थींदा वा उन्हीं के कोड भी वो लोग को प्लेजराइज पकड़े सके था ओटलो जो हुई चाहिए ताकि वो सारो है एटलो टूल SOP तो खाली वर्ड्स है कोड में तो यार आई ब्रेसेस रखे सको वेरिएबल नाम अलग करे सको तो भी पकड़े तो सो स्टेटमेंट ऑफ पर्पस इज़ डेफिनेटली आई पन के डिफाइन कयो था पन के आई इंट्रोड्यूस कयो था कोई के तो हु आंती जचनू खपे कोई AI टूल थी ना या कोई जो कॉपी आ गई मुझे फ्रेंड वियो है आऊँ उन जड़ क्यों या बैचलर्स क्यों या खेजे सो मैं थी हु भी के सेम लखे लाइयों की फ़र्क न तो ना वो हुन जो डिफाइन किया है कि उनके कोरो करनो है अग्या आई आंके कोरो करनो है हु डिफाइन कईंदा एंड नेक्स्ट लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन 3 गने जा हाँ बट की कईंदा अगर आई डायरेक्टली कॉलेज थी वनो था तो लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन आंके जो फील्ड में करनो है सो फॉर एग्जांपल कंप्यूटर साइंस में वनो है तो आई कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क्स जे प्रोफेसर थी गनो जिन जो की फील्ड जो आए ना आंके जो करे जो है हुन जो आई डोंट सी द रेलेवेंस हिते अगर कोई आंके DSA सिखाए तो कॉलेज में जूनियर कॉलेज में हुन जो गनो सो इट मेक्स सेंस कि आई हुन जे अंदर प्रोजेक्ट क्या आयो एक फॉर एग्जांपल हु आंके अना हेल्प कईंदो अग्या सेम अगर फॉर एग्जांपल असा जे टाणे मणे एक्सेंचर में घुस दवा एक्सेंचर में घुसे 1 ईयर कम क्या एक प्रमोशन गेड़ा ने पोई US ला नखरीन दवा तो US एक वर्ष कम क्या मैनेजर जो गने गेड़ा कोरो कम क्या भले कि रेलेवेंट ना हो बट ठीक है एक मैनेजर लेवल जो आए लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन विच इज़ वेरी गुड सिमिलरली सो दिस आई थिंक इज़ द बेस्ट वे कि आंके बेस्ट ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटीज़ आला करे एवरी स्टूडेंट ला करे अलग होंदो मड़े जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटस अलग है मड़े के फाइनेंशियल एड सागर जो छे हु अलग है मड़े के मले भी ना मले हु भी अलग है सो ही मड़े रिसर्च कयो बेस्ट ऑफ लाइक डॉक्टर सुधीर शाह 10 यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हुनमें 3 आईवी लीग फॉर श्योर 3 मीडियम एंड 3 फॉर 4 और 5 जिनमें शॉर्ट हाँ सेफ यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के मलेज वंदो मूंखे ही आई डिफ्रेंशिएट कयो एक स्टेट में नहीं गनो बॉस्टन स्टेट नेरो वेदर नेरो बहु ज़रूरी है आऊँ कोविड जे टाइम जो अँ लाइक डिफ़िकल्ट 1.5 ईयर असी एक रूम में बंद हुआ सो क्लाइमेट अगर ग्रोसरीज गण ला वनू है स्नो में तो असांखे ख़बर है कोरो हालत थिए थी सो इट्स मड़े लोकेशन नेरो क्लाइमेट नेरो स्टूडेंट लाइफ नेरो एंड हाँ मोस्टली ही जाए नंढो टॉपिक वो बट होपफुली ही आके हेल्प करे कि क्वेश्चन हुए तो गेट बैक
Thank you, Priyank. I think now we have Mile. Yeah. So the last panelist, and then we'll have question answers.
Possible? Oh, that's better. Thank you. Sorry, I'm बोला था जैक हला बैठा on the way along the way so that it's easy. But yeah, पहली गाल, thank you for the opportunity. I will be mainly covering. I think introduction था you can feel free to skip. Yeah, I'll be mainly covering host family arrangements. I think before I go in detail, like, can you please have a round of applause for the Samaj? I was in the States for 5.5-6 years. कोई पण माण्हू न मिलियो outside our Samaj जिनके हाड़ी arrangement पण वे. There is no Samaj doing something so unique, so value add, and so core to its own instincts. Like manjo Samaj is built on this. that ये चापा कच्ची होते नो आवे आयु, and we are still together, right? कितलो पण में कितने पण मला ये कच्ची है कि गाम जायो. Like that's the instinctive questions. So it's amazing to have such an arrangement. I will just talk through what is the importance, care points, the health TNG, and I'll keep switching languages. So please bear me on that. And then I'll go into what are the expectations, what are the good practices, and what you should expect out of it, and what's the best way to go about based on my understanding. Pehlo point is like when you move significantly, like to a new country, new society, new ecosystem, first few weeks or days can be a little overwhelming and rocky because you're figuring out everything all at once. Having a host family helps you get the warmth of family, get the warmth of support system. At the same time, focus on what matters and whatever you need to do while you're there. So the first few weeks of Anjo Gachwar, like something as silly as Anjo Ghar 15 डिपो मले हो रहा है, but you're already there. Something as simple as that can be a huge problem. जो पा मुंबई में recognize ना कोई होगा, पा हेते ना तो बाई जो घर बाजू में होते ना मासी जो घर बाजू में काके जो घर है, like we just live in this close knit community here, right? पर होते ना वे, so you don't recognize कि उनकी कोई value है. So one of the immediate biggest value additions that come from this entire arrangement is anke immediately for first few weeks or months anke apno support system ali bane, and not just for the children, even for parents anke sari racho nendhar ache when you know that your children are well taken care of, well fed, and comforted. So that's I think the biggest value. But besides this, based on my experience from even some of my friends, some of the other benefits that came out of the entire host family arrangement were more long term. जैसे कोई लोग को host family साथे इतना सारा relation बंधाया, संबंध बंधाया कि पोइ internships ताने हुच में जे network में help कहीं दावा, jobs ताने हुच पोइ help कहीं है. एकदम बड़ा questions अच्छे हैं, settle US में थे नुए कि India अच्छे नुए, आगे घर कहते गन्नु है, settle केन city में थे नुए. There's so many other elements that come to your life as you evolve through the journey. Having host family is an easiest way to build trust and get a very good head start. This is not common. This is like 99.9999% of the students flying into anywhere abroad do not have this arrangement. We have it. So please respect it, value it, and nourish it. Right? And I can also cover like what things will not help you. Like US mein life is tough. Most families have both partners working. There are no house helps, so people are managing the home as well at the same time. So if you're reaching out to your host family 6 months out, asking them too many questions, it's tough because what you want is for them to know that, to make them willing to help you out, right? So respecting their bandwidth, their energy, their time is hugely critical because unye side thi pan ghach vaddo effort hai based on how in the ecosystem they are in to take time out to support our community. So understanding that is very important. So 6 mahina pehla reach out kenda, seeking validation on every and any small decisions you make, which is sometimes some of these decisions are also available online. Like I ketlo dur raw tha ei jagya thi, like Google knows those answers, but I who cheeze unike pochta, so that can be a little troubling and can be annoying sometimes. And what we do not want is people who are willing to help us out, you know, we shy away from them or we just push them out. So recognizing what are the best practices and what not to do, more importantly, can go a long way in not just taking the best value out of the process, but also adding value to it. I think the last point which I wanted to cover was this. Like once you're there, even though you'll be all settled, you'll be enjoying the life there, contribute back. The program it fails. It's only the roots that create the leaves. Heritage ahi agar vada thinda ta ahi anja pan jo value ahi create kainda, jo ahi contribute kainda back, who future generations leverage kai sakda. So please appreciate that, respect that, and be a part of the program long after you've been through the process. That's I think the main questions on main points on the host family. I also have another slide which is just based on my understanding, like key themes of what matters, what doesn't matter. It purely comes out of my experience. So please feel free to take it with a grain of salt. I think the image clearly depicts how life feels like outside. Like you're burning all around, but you still feel you're fine. So you're trying to navigate so many things all at once. And when you're doing something like that, the first key point is keep things simple. This hugely applies to how kitchens work. I mean, normal dal bhat khichdi banaila, simple food. The simple you keep, quicker it will be, easier it will be for you. Again, I will not talk a lot on kitchen because we have a room full of Indian parents. Like, aathi vadhare optimized kitchen koi na kai sake waro. I can do all I can, but parents jitno anke sakhai sakda on how to keep kitchen simple, effective, and efficient. Jo koi jagah duniya mein kitna mili sake waro. Second point is professionals win points, amateurs lose them. I think 1999 mein, there was a statistician who wrote a book. His analysis was, his idea was on understanding how professionals and amateurs behave differently. He basically lawn tennis te research kiya tha. They analyzed many games across players, understanding keda koro ranking ja players hi rameta. Kin type ji pitch hai, kin type je ball te koro shot selection hai player jo. And on all of this analysis, where they arrived to is that professionals win points and amateurs lose them. And what that means is when two amateurs are playing against each other, nava player the one who wins is the one who makes fewer mistakes. When professionals play against each other, they've already covered these mistakes, right? So now the one who wins is the one who scores more points. And there's a very clear distinction between the behavior and the personality traits of these two kinds of people or players. Recognizing that you're going to a new ecosystem, a new society, and understanding that you could be an amateur there. The society is different, the culture is different, the laws and regulations could be different. So accepting that I'm amateur is very important, because then your goal, at least in the initial first few months or maybe a year, should be to minimize mistakes. And common mistakes I think of, which are very prevalent here but may not be worth doing there, copying assignments, like it's not showing up on time for your meetings, driving without license. They sound really silly, but believe me, I've seen all of those cases in some of my friends, and they do not, you can't get away from them. They will bite you sooner or later. So understanding that if amateur hai, nava banota bedesh mein, please hold your ground. Please play defense. Please do not succumb to these instinctive mediocre tendencies or unprofessionalism, because they will bite you. Developed countries are developed because they recognize and they incentivize good behavior. Anywhere you do not behave, sooner or later you'll be caught. So why play with that? ડૉક્ટર સુધીરજી પણ છે મળે લોકો કવર ક્યાં હિચ પોઈન્ટ્સ કે ડોન્ટ ડુ એનીથિંગ દેટ્સ ઇલીગલ ડોન્ટ ડુ it all boils down to this like you are an amateur. It's okay to be an amateur. Play your game the way you play it. Make sure you minimize your mistakes. That's the way to win in an amateur game. Start off with that, and once you feel comfortable in the long run, you're free to pick your choices. The third point there is around like resumes would not stick, stories stick. I was undergrad Kyote, which was in Matunga, not far from where we are. There was a lot of bias on making a stellar resume. But there is nothing more, like there's nothing in the world that loses trust more than a brilliant resume and a person who doesn't represent that. There's nothing more that loses trust. And trust lose kayata, and that will always come back to you. So a better strategy always is, instead of fixing your resume, fix your story. And in many loku jo points cover kiya, all the esteemed panelists here, they all cover the same points. Do your research, do your due diligence, because that helps you seek out your story. It helps you understand where you are, what you're doing, what you want, and it basically begins the process of internal discovery. Who jate ke j sacho? I begano karane care nakri na sakta hu menu. Sooner or later you will come back to the same roadblock or same bottleneck of how to decide. Same crossroads nahi achta runda because you have not overcome it yet. So please make sure that you are focusing on your story. Because your stories spark creativity, stories connect people, stories stick, resumes won't. And the last point there is around experience. It's the experiences that build your story. So, like a example on what kind of work to do on campus when you're in college. If you get a work, agar jetaun padhiyu mein wo, तो मुझे option was working in a cafeteria. I ended up picking a job which paid me less, but I was working on projects for PNG. It gave me an option to seek out stories, seek out experiences which helped build my story. So the more farther out you look out in a journey, at the end of the day, if you can have good experiences which can build good stories, you will sell through. You will get what you want, and you will get it better than what you expect. I think lastly, what I would say is, if you're able to keep life simple, focus on what matters, and stay disciplined on the process, if you're able to not succumb to unprofessionalism and like rookie mistakes, and if you're able to continue to push hard all along, then the world is your oyster and the sky is your limit.
Come to Jainam.
Okay. So I'll be talking about how to face difficult times overseas. So first of all, I have two questions for all of you. How many students will be leaving their home for the first time? And how many of you think that वहाँ जाके life set है? Please raise your hands. How many of you think like that? It's okay, it's normal. Okay, so first couple of years, it won't be easy. It's the truth. It's harsh, but it won't be easy. It's a new country, new place. You don't know what's going on. It's completely jumbled up. There are people to help you, but managing part-time job, studying, everything, you will be thinking how to do it, how will it be, how to manage time doing all these. It's difficult. But one thing is that make a routine and stick to it. So you will have a set timetable for the week. Like for the whole semester you will have maybe 3 to 4 days of classes, and maybe 20 hours working is like 3 days a week. So if you plan it properly, you can handle it and it will be easy for you. And sometimes it might get tough. Like from my personal experience, when I was working on my dissertation, being a chemical engineer, I had lab-based dissertation. So I had to go to lab from 9 to 5 and every day for 5 days a week. And I was also working part-time, so 20 hours was like 9 to 5 lab after 5, 6 o'clock, I used to go to work. I used to work until 2 o'clock in the night, go home. At 3 o'clock, I used to make dinner, and then I used to go to sleep. Then again, next morning, at 9, I had to be at the lab. So it was difficult. There was difficult time also. But I'm not saying it will be like that for whole 2 years or something. It was just for 2 months. But yeah, if you plan it properly, you can obviously go through it. For with respect to job and recession, after COVID, you might have been hearing about it, like the countries are going into recession, UK, US, and all. Yeah, and especially UK and European countries have been affected by the Russia-Ukraine war also. There have been many Ukrainians immigrating around in the surrounding countries, and they don't have any requirements for them, so they are taking the jobs also. Now, what should we do? Only thing is, whenever you're applying for jobs, you won't get it in 10 or 20 applications. You will have to apply for at least 100 to 200 jobs. Then only you might get, let's say, 15 interviews. That's the upper limit I'm talking about. 15 interviews from 200 applications. So, yeah, you don't have to feel stressed that you're not getting any interviews. It's the way it is. Like 200 job applications, and you will be nervous and saddened that you're not getting any interviews and all. So that's the way it is. Like, it's not just you; it's for everybody. And even when you're applying for jobs, be specific to what you want to do. Don't just apply to any jobs you find. Don't just keep applying blindly. If you end up working for something you don't want to work for a lifetime, you'll regret it. And as every panelist said, grow your network on LinkedIn, or there's career fairs happening at the universities. You can visit those, grow your network, connect with everybody, even college seniors you might be having. Connect with them through LinkedIn and see if they are doing something similar that you want to do or not. That is the best way to go forward in that area. Also, keep your backup plans ready. Like, as I said, I was working at McDonald's. Even after I finished my master's, I was there for like 3 months finding a job. But again, I graduated in September, and until December I was working at McDonald's full time because I didn't have a job. And I kind of figured it out early that there's a recession and there's not much opportunities right now. So that's why I came back and I got an internship with Indian Institute of Chemical Engineers. And I have my friends over there who are still working part-time and trying to make a living without a job. And that's about... Yeah, I'm talking about UK. I'm talking specifically about UK. And I'm talking about 98% of my friends. They're jobless, they're working part-time just to pay rent. No, whole UK. All over the UK. Yeah. Next slide. So this is just some data that I came across recently. This is from April 2013 only, like this month itself. So there's a recession probability of 75% in the UK right now, in this year, and about 65% in the US. Now this data is only for this year. I've seen some data for the coming years, and it's expected to get better by mid-2024. Even the world, and the source is also IMF, which is not like India biased. which you might say that they have encouraged India. Yeah, Bloomberg and IMF. So this is the current situation, and if you're planning to go for masters in UK, which is a 1-year course, I personally recommend that not to go this year and try if you can go next year. That's my personal recommendation. Next slide, please. So there's one important topic, that do you require an agent or counselor to help you through this process, the admission process? You don't require it at all. Like, they might lure you into taking a counselor with saying that they will help you with part-time jobs, the permanent jobs that you'll be looking for after graduating, and all these, but it's not really that hard. Like, they will just give you links. You have to go to the site, do this. You can do that on your own also. Like, you don't need a counselor for that. You can ask anyone on LinkedIn and they'll say that you can go on this link and you can apply for the jobs. And even for part-time jobs, the counselors, what they do is they just send you a list, and you'll have to go around through the list, go there physically and apply to the jobs. So better thing is just go around your area, whatever stores or let's say fast food chains there are. So just go in there, ask them if they have any part-time jobs available, and they will respond it freely, and you can apply directly to them. And this is about UK. Like, I'm not sure if you're allowed to work in the US like this. Also, sometimes, like, there are few cases where students have been admitted to bogus colleges. Like, it might be 1 in a million, but yeah, that's true, it's happening. So be aware of that too. And most of the major colleges that you will be applying for, I think all of them will have international services, which help students in every aspect, from the application till finding a part-time job. They help you with part-time jobs also. Like, for example, from my university, they had an online portal, job shop, where all the part-time jobs in the city were posted on that site. So you can just go through the site and apply from the site. It's that easy. So you don't really need an agent to help you with this and pay like lots of money to it. It's waste, in my personal opinion. Yeah, that'd be all. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jainam. So we have a lot of questions around us. Just on the last note which Jainam made regarding the counselors, I will just bring out a few points. One is that paisa murkhai mein dene ja ko la. Pehli vastu hi. When you can yourself do it, why do you need to just pay off like a fool and go into a college or a university which is substandard to your potential? So you can decide that, whether you want someone else to decide which university to go, or whether you want to make your choice. How many of you want to make your own choice? Hands up. How many of you went to counselors? Almost, I'm sure many. We know we have that data. So just a point, it's not only about the money, it is also the kind of university that you're going to be recommended. You have to be careful about that. We've had, Lax and me have handled some cases where the students have come back even without completing the study. I think, who gave the example? Meet gave the example of a student who went and पढ़ के फिर 2 साल के बाद आया, उसको job नहीं मिला. We are not talking about that only. We are talking about students who have even come back without having completed the studies because they realized there that these colleges, universities were fake. There is no one then you can talk to. You can't get your money back. You can't get your time back. You just come back very disappointed. Out of the 3 students who came back together, one went into depression, had to be then treated for that. So just be careful. We are not saying everyone is fake, everyone is bad, but just be careful. Be watchful of from where you're taking the help. I think there was a very nice, important topic, I think, which was covered by Mile on the host. You covered the host. So just wanted to say this, that host family, what they can do for our students is really mind-boggling. Paja parents and students, जो को मिले बात के ने 2 महीना 4 महीना पहला they want the host family. Why they want the host family? अभी से तो रहने का नहीं है उनके साथ. अभी क्यों चाहिए उनका contact? Because there is a system. Once we get all the data, because right now also the students who have registered is not the entire KVO who is going. There will be many more who will be finalizing their universities over the period. And we cannot keep sending the, the data back and forth. We send the data once. You know when the data will go from here? End of July. The entire data will go there end of July. The universities don't start before August. You may decide you want to go in June or July, maybe for holiday. That's a different story. But host family is not for helping you for a holiday. They are there to help you for your education. So if you, as Miller rightly pointed out, if you're going to contact them for small little things just to get some confirmations or to, sometimes they tell us, host family ki jara puchna hi mujhe college and he particular address katlo dur hai. Now they are just finding out their own paying guest accommodation, the student, and they may have multiple addresses. Is that host family going to go and confirm for you every time you decide where you want to go? And finally you may not even decide to go there. So host family have specific agenda. Their agenda is they want to help the KVO students to settle down well. Maybe as, if you are medically requiring help at some point of time, or you require some financial help also, you're unable to pay the fees because the money is not got transferred, whatever is the reason. At such times, they are there to help you. Plus, when you are homesick, to make you feel at home. Especially when there are celebrations and festivals, you may miss your family. Jera ke family ji bahu jarur lage, host family is there. There are extreme cases. There are host family, jo ko aake 6 mahina asate aake khamainda, jo madej kainda, every weekend they will take you for a, outing. There are such host families also. But that is not the general thing, because as Milay put it rightly, they are all working. They do all the work themselves. Rasoila, kamla, everything we have help, drivers, but they are doing everything themselves. So we have to respect their time, the value that they have created for the host family. I just want to give you one good news. Panji host family ke, it is almost more than 25 years. 1996 mein start thaya. How many years is that? Almost 27 years. And this time we got a call from the Jaina International, and they want to establish this entire host family system for all Jain students taking the KVO example. So we are going to develop a model for them. So it works well, but we have to be careful. That's very, very important. And I think they have given a lot of tips on, how to prepare, what colleges, what to do before. Sudhir bhai has spoken so much about not only the visa, but he has given an entire, you can say, holistic view of study in the US. Many things apply in other countries also. I'm going to take up some questions, but we will also be having the mic around. Where is, Lekha is around with the mic. In case when the question has been spoken and you think it's not been responded to your expectation, you can take the mic and ask again. How important is it to keep a counselor for undergraduate program? I think the answer is the same. The difference between MIS and MS courses. One of you all, I think you have 2 mics. Yeah. We'll all have it very brief so that we can go through all the questions.
So
I don't think that's a right question to ask. What's the difference between MIS and MS? The question should be, what is the difference between MS in MIS and CS? So this should be the question that has to be answered. And to answer this question, it's simple as that you have to research the university, the courses which they offer. In Northeastern University, which I studied, I did in information systems. But the courses, what they gave is mostly equivalent to what is provided in computer science by other universities. For database, back-end development, cloud development, front-end development. What all courses are available for computer science are available in information systems in Northeastern universities. If the students wants to specifically target business analytics, data analytics, then they can take up the courses in MIS, what other universities offer, because they have similar kind of course structures. The bottom line to this question is, it's the universities that you need to research. What are the courses inside those major that you are doing, whether it's MIS, IS or CS. It's the same, mostly the same, not the same, mostly the same. Select the course structure that you want to major in this particular part. So select the universities appropriately. It does not matter whether it is MIS, IS or CS. The courses what you study goes into your resume, and that's what ultimately matters to find a good job.
Yeah, just to add to, he just mentioned Northeastern University. Like Northeastern University, RMIT, there are certain universities which have the co-op program. I think you did not cover that, but the co-op program or the sandwich program, this is something very interesting. If you are prepared with a 1-year tuition fee and your course is of 2 years, you can take a break of 7-8 months. There is some duration that they permit you to work. It's a full-time job that you can work on. Because normally while you're studying, you can only work for 20 hours a week, which is just for your grocery or whatever you can help out with. But if you take up this sandwich program, the where you are taking the co-op program, you can work for 8 months, earn the amount, and that is sufficient for the fee of the second year, more or less. So there are students who have gone with only 1 year financial preparation and actually earned themselves for the next year. Not only that, it also gives them a confirmed job post courses completed. So they already have, it's like an internship for them, but it's not an internship, it's a full-time job. So they can also, they're confirmed with their placement. One thing is that if you are confirmed, if you are sure about your child, and if the student is sure about himself or herself, there are students who are taking co-op program at the undergraduate. Instead of the 4-year program, they finish it in 5 years, or some even take little longer and they do 6 years. This is unheard of in India because we don't practice. हम तो BSc, MSc या BCom, MCom सब साथ में ही करना है. That's not the trend internationally. Internationally, they take a break, they work, and then they may do their masters at the age of 30, 35, whatever.
So just to...
I think, yeah, sorry, go ahead. I think exactly what ma'am said. Like most students who are doing undergraduate studies, especially like because I've been to US, most Americans doing undergraduate studies do not complete in 4 years. They take longer because they work, they like the work, so they'll work a little longer, gain more experience, then come back because work gives you the clarity you need and the story you need to go back to your coursework and get any other skill sets you need. So
because here we say, अरे 22-23 वर्ष से भणे जो पूरा न करें तो पेड़ने कर. तो यहाँ तो वही टेंशन होता है कि वो शादी कभी करे. तो वो सब पढ़ ले, पहले तेरा पढ़ाई पूरा कर, फिर शादी कर. So there is a different mindset for the whole thing. Internationally, it's not looked at that way. Safety, I already told her. What safety?
So, for example, I was looking as an host family because as an undergrad, when my daughter is going from here, and I realized that our brought up in India is very different from the brought up that a child is in America. The child is absolutely independent by the time it turns 18. Kids here are not independent. So when they go, they have other challenges. Again, from one country to another country,
I don't know how much safe it is even for me to work. See, the question is how much sure you are of your child and how much is the child sure of themselves. Because we know Tane at the age of 16 was very matured. Even Tanvi and even Jessica, they have all worked while they were doing undergrad. So they've all gone at the undergrad and they've all worked there also. They've done so many other things besides working. Yeah. So
Coming into
I think
my
we've responded
experience-
enough to this.
Coming into my experience for safety, you are doing your job, you're working full time. It's not a question about safety, it's about getting a new exposure. I was studying in Boston. My co-op was in Rhode Island. It was a different state. I was commuting 1.5 hours one way every day to do my co-op. I can be I had a choice to shift to Rhode Island, but I did not choose to, but I chose to commute every day. Commuting is again becomes a different question that it's not safe, it's safe, but it's individual's choice, it's getting a new exposure, and it's not a question about undergrad or grad. Even when we went for our masters, we were like a very new to every scenario. So it's not the question about safety, it's about the new experience.
અને પેન્ટે પહે તો મળે સખીઓને.
And see, you have to be
અહીં તો
looking...
વડીલ સખી અહીં એટલે પાસે ત્યાં આવ્યું એ તે 5 સખબો થઈ ગયા વનબો કેમ જો કે શોર્ટકટ ને પેન્ટે પોંદા પને રસ્તા કાઢતા. You will be surprised at the curiosity our children will bring in. You'll be surprised how creative they can be. You'll be surprised how empowered they are. It's just that પાંચી ઇકોસિસ્ટમ में उनकी हर उतली फ्रीडम મળે નથી મળતી તો પને રસ્તા કાઢતા.
And just 1 minute also that I would like to say is, there are areas in every area. Areas in every area which are safe and unsafe. Once you know what is unsafe, you will not go that side. So people travel in a rounder way sometimes because they know that particular rail station is not safe, or that particular street is not safe. Next street there is shooting happening. So what do? Will you go that area? No. So these are the preparation that you have to your mind. The next question is similar. How safe is it in US considering all the mass shootings?
It's very uncertain. It's all based on luck. That's what I wanted to say.
सोच लो अभी भी जाना है कि नहीं जाना है.
I have this live scenario which I wanted to answer this. Where the place where I used to stay, it was considered as a massive safe area. Even Priyank used to stay next building where I used to stay. There was a street where we have townhouses. Now the scenario happened in one houses. There was a different kind of people were staying in that house, and the house next to it, Indian students were living. And there was a car who was waiting outside for the person to come from that house. And unfortunately, an Indian student came out, and an incident happened. So it's very unlikely. It's based on luck. I would say, do not leave your house after 8 on your roads in US. It's purely based on luck. So there is no proper answer to it whether it is safe or not safe. That's it.
Yeah, so you have to respect the environment that it is. Okay, the next question is, I'm going to read through the questions. Some of them I will just respond because we know what are the responses. How important is work experience in getting good universities? I'm sure they are asking about work experience over here before you go there. So I would say yes, work experience is very important because for them only percentages, 90%, 99.9%, this does not matter alone. There are a lot of other things that they look into. Work experience is one very important aspect which matters. Also, if my work experience is not in the same field as my master's, will it not be considered as a plus point? It will be. Even if you've gone and helped a dentist at the reception, and you are now applying for another course which is say CS or whatever, or law or anything else, it will still be considered because they have a very holistic view to the entire admission process. If there is anything different that I'm saying and you want to add, you can stop me. I have a BTech in CS. What courses are good that are not hardcore coding, but rather a mix of finance and coding, or a techno managerial degree? I think think you've already responded, but you can.
I think this question is the best answer to the first question, MIS and MS, IS, or computer science. Like you can research which university has those courses. Like for example, Northeastern MIS, like Masters in Information System, is a hardcore coding. Like you do not want that. So research the course structures accordingly. So like for me, like I would say, this is the best question for MIS and IS.
Yeah.
And you can always talk to students there. Like just reach out to students, ask them, koro internship malati, koro job malati after the program. It'll give you more holistic ideas. It's just about more research.
You know, rather than asking host family jo contact diyo, address diyo, lakhs ke niya jo number diyo, I would say the better thing is in numbers seniors ja pucho and talk to the seniors. That would help you more. I don't know if that parent is there over here or no, because one of the parent was very anxious that मेरी बच्ची अगस्त में जा रही है, अभी तक उसको रूम नहीं मिला है. अभी से कैसे मिलेगा? अभी तो अप्रैल मंथ चल रहा है. How is it possible? उनको इतना डर है कि अभी से मेरे को होस्ट फैमिली का आप एड्रेस दे दो. What are you going to do? Why is your child going to go right now to the host family? My point is talk to the seniors, talk to the professors. That will go a long way. These are the ones whom you should talk to. What are the views on medical sector, specifically public health in USA? Because not everyone talks about it. Anyone over here? I doubt. Okay.
So basically, I'll just take this question. See, all these questions are something we are not the correct person to answer, because there's an expert who has already done this. Maybe you can just speak with the professors, the students, someone who is already doing it, working in medical, and they will give you the correct answer. Also, internet is available. You can just search about these things. Wherever you get stuck, you can speak with an expert who has already done this.
Yeah, there's a good question for you, because I think financial literacy India में समझते कि सब छोटे ही हैं. How much time is required to settle in the monthly budget cycle, as we don't get on-campus job immediately? How do they manage their finances if they do not get their on-campus jobs?
Like you prepare.
In fact, I will just like to tell you, the fees that you pay include all the club, sports, so many other facilities. You're paying for all the fee, and finally you don't go and use anything because your concentration is on the 20 hours में मेरे को कमाना है और घर पे grocery लेके आना है. And what Lax is saying is absolutely valid. Prepare yourself from ahead. Prepare yourself from here, so you can enjoy the other, interact with people. You can do the best of it. If you get a job, a good job, that is good. But if you do not get, I don't think there is something that you really need to hassle about. Okay, highest impact of recession. How much of it directly impacts a student's life? Lifestyle, job opportunities, university. I think this has already been responded to, but if you want to, you can. UK students, I think, when I was in UK just about few months back, it was very bad. One was working for a clothing mall, one was working in McDonald's like this, and there was one who was still searching a part-time job also. UK jobs situation is very bad. Inflation is high. So please be careful. Make a very, very selective, informed decision. It's better to talk, and that is why we said parents have to be here today. Why was the reason? Because very often we've seen students hushing up the discussions, and they think कि वहाँ जाके सब हो जाएगा. And we are knowing, we are interacting with the students, we know what difficulties they face when they reach there. Therefore, don't shy on a discussion with your family. Yeah.
So adding to that, inflation. So when I joined university, this is one example I'm giving. Tomatoes were 3 pounds. 1 pound is 100 rupees. So 300 rupees per kg when I joined the university. When I graduated, those same tomatoes were 6 pounds. So that was the inflation rate. This is just one example for you to understand.
And there was a time when gahu ka atta was not available.
Even tomatoes were out of stock. Like for almost 3 to 4 months, there were no tomatoes. Only place you could find was Indian stores who imported from India. So those tomatoes were like £9, 900 rupees per kg, and you can't really buy it every day. Like it was that expensive.
This is even with respect to milk, all the basic essentials. So that's why we are saying when you're discussing and deciding for UK, make a choice. There is one student who wants to know what courses without STEM. I think a very good question. If you're going in for a course without STEM, then what? Maybe advertising, marketing, whatever.
So I ideally just wanted to cover the previous point. Okay. I'll come back to this as well. Just to give you example, whenever you go, there will be a situation that is bad. In my scenario, there was COVID, okay? Again, very similar to recession. What happened is, forget about getting a new job, all the jobs were cancelled. People who had jobs where, companies were laying them off. Majority, now you have heard that, a lot of startups are coming up, a lot of funding is happening. At that point, also it was very similar. People who had raised a lot of funding and had hired, expecting that the industry and the whole economy will grow very fast, was not growing very fast. And when you have money in your bank account and you have hired 10 times, assuming a 10x growth, and now the growth is 0 or maybe negative, the only option is to lay off people. Similarly, now also in recession, that is the same thing happening. And at any point of time in your life, you will face this similar situation wherein you have to make a choice. In my case, I had the same scenario. I had 3 job offers in France. COVID hit. All 3 jobs were cancelled. And this was not only me, it was a lot of other students. People who had had lost their jobs also. Now, at that point of time, you have 2 options. One is you wait, still apply for jobs. Second option is maybe you move to a country where there are more jobs available or the economy is much better. In my case, it was India. I had an option to wait there or come back to India, look for a job. I decided to come back and start working rather than wasting a year. And
shut it off.
Yeah. And there were two of my friends living with me in the same flat. One of them is still looking for a job after 2 years. And maybe doing something here and there, maybe working part-time and still looking for a job, not able to get a job. One of them got a job in a very known company, and in 3 months he was fired. Again, he's looking for a job. And then there is one person who had the job from the beginning, still has his job. So it technically depends on you. There might be ups and downs, but depends on you how clear you are with your vision, what you want to do, and at that specific time, what is going on in your mind and what decision you make.
Yeah, thank you. I think that was a good one, because all the ones who are going without the STEM course, you be watchful, because I know students with the financial courses also or medical courses who go also select subjects in such a way that they fall in the STEM category. So you have to be careful about that. How do you manage working part-time and studies? Campus jobs and studies.
So as Lax uncle, Ela auntie all said, don't rely on on-campus jobs. So on-campus jobs is 20 hours, plan accordingly. So 20 hours in 7 days, 7 days a week is like 3 hours a day. Rest you can study. So what needs to be done? So I would say course will get hectic. Course structure there is not the same as in India. Like the course there is much more practical. If you are going for a hardcore coding job or coding courses, I am talking from a software developer perspective or a data perspective, not from the other electives or something. Courses do get hectic. So plan accordingly how much you want to work based on your finances. So how do you manage is already up to you, how confident you are in completing your assignments, in getting like knowing. So basically what I used to try is like whatever courses I did previously, I used to try for a teaching assistant job. So in a way it can help me in my resume as well, not the Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts job, which is much more hectic. Like you have to stand in all day. you don't have to sit, you don't have place to sit, which is even more difficult.
And just to add to this, to get a research assistantship or teaching assistantship, it is very important that you are in touch with your seniors. References really help. Don't think that somebody is just going to come and offer it just because you've landed there, people will just offer it to you. So if you are of a category who does not network, who does not talk, I would say learn to talk. Learn to network. It is very important. I'm connecting it with the next question. How do you connect with students going in the same university? How do you find roommates? And are summer internships helpful, and how do you find them? There are too many questions in one.
Actually, one point which I had covered during when I was giving my presentation was attend pre-departure orientations which are organized by universities. Those are the things where you meet the students who are going along with you for the same course which you are. Also, you get a chance to meet different students for the different courses, but you get a chance to interact with them, talk to them, and who knows, they can be your next roommates. For me, my personal experience was I used to attend all the seminars which KVO Seva Samaj used to organize. And all my roommates were Kachis, and I met all of them in this kind of seminars. So this helps a lot. So not just sit and listen. Once this is done, communicate between each others who are going to US, or they are going to UK, going to Germany. Just find people, communicate with each other. If they find that, okay, he is good, he can be my roommate, I can communicate with him properly, just connect, exchange numbers and communicate. So that's what the basic rule is. Just meet people, communicate, don't just find anyone online. It can be very hazardous, and finding a wedge roommate becomes a very important part when it comes to we Jains, that you cannot survive with the person who is cooking eggs every morning. The smell, you can't survive those things. So this is what I wanted to make the point. Once the session is over, communicate between yourself. Interact with each other. That's how you will find your roommates. And that's how I found my roommates with this seminars what KVO organizes.
I'd just like to add over here, there were times in the 27 years when we used to upload the entire sheet. Aapka jo data sheet hai, Excel sheet, with the contact number, the the email ID, everything. We used to upload it on the Kojaina site. And we were so happy that it's there. For years it continued. And just up to last 2 years back, there was a student who approached us and said, I request you all to please, if you can pull it down. Imagine those Excel sheets were there on the Kojaina sites for years together. And she has shared one experience. Immediately that same day, the day for them and night for us, we got the entire data out from there. We asked them to remove the contact details and then upload it. Right now also all the data that you all have freely been giving us. Kachi ayu, it is fine. You can share data because you know that this is going to be we also keep it very confidential. Kate bhi koi bange ta si data hai te share na kayo. Koi pan data hai, we don't share. Because of the sensitivity of data sharing. So be careful when you are sharing data, as Meet very rightly put it. Online, the unknown people, just to save some pennies in the room charges or whatever, don't go ahead and share your data. Be very careful. Hoda say joko reta even paja kachi, they will not even pick up your phone. Ingane maka choy host family ja number deo, lax Kenya ja number deo. Are lax Kenya number the lax opade ganda phone. But hoda ulogo opadinna na, because they face lot of problems when they pick up phones from unknown numbers. So they will not. And you will think, mujhe phone ko opadid na to. Ye opadinda j na. So the best thing we work on is the email. Anti pella pani agar list ne raya contact details. What was given over there? Email IDs. So you can use email IDs. The best way to connect is LinkedIn. I think one of them had already covered. Who covered? I don't remember. I think Sagar covered. LinkedIn is the best way to cover your own, people from your own university and wherever, for many other things. Okay, we move to the next. Do we get sports quota and scholarship available in United States? Scholarships are available, and Jainam, who else has got scholarships? Sagar. So Sagar, you can talk about.
So here we have a very different concept of scholarship. We think that, you know, people who are not financially doing well will get a scholarship. But there it's merit-based scholarship, ideally solely based on your performances. So if you want, if you want to get a scholarship, one thing is, you know, if you are, I think, you know, I saw the Excel sheet which was filled. A lot of you here are from HR college. I don't know if you could just raise your hand if you're from HR. Yeah, I think one or two. Yeah. So in HR and, you know, similarly KC, Chayan, all these colleges have clubs, multiple clubs. You have investment clubs, students council, NSS. Like you have 15, 20 clubs in good colleges. You should, you know, be part of each of them. Maybe, and these clubs organize and societies organize multiple events throughout the year. Be part of them, be part of the volunteering team. This gives you a lot of material to put in your SOPs. On top of that, what you can do is you can, you know, volunteer for NGOs, etc. Now, all these things, irrespective whether they are related to your course or not related to your course, it will add tremendous value to your overall SOP and, you know, the chances of you getting a scholarship. And that is what you should do. Apart from that, further, if you are very well interested and if you are into research papers, etc., make sure that, you know, if you want to get into X university, go to their website, study more about their professors and, you know, be in touch with them, read more about their research paper and include certain points why you are doing that course, how well it is related to you. Because see, the objective of them providing you a merit-based scholarship is that they want you to grow big in your career, and then eventually you will be their alumni and you will be their brand ambassadors, and that is what they are looking for. You becoming a brand, and then they can proudly say, okay, this person is from Harvard or from Stanford or any other university, and that is what you are supposed to show in your SOP, that, you know, I have these skills, I have done this in my past, and if I'm able to, you know, get into your university, this is something I will become, and eventually I will raise your university's name, and based on that they will give you the scholarship.
Yeah, and very rightly said. And just to add to that, if you want to, you can also negotiate further. Suppose if they've given you a 30%, you can negotiate and make it to 70, 80, even sometimes 100%. But that depends on what you have within you. That also depends. And just to add one more thing, the point that he mentioned about clubs, the few things that really help you is your co-curricular interests and participation. Your participation in social work. We have live examples of people who have done social work and even have mentioned it very subtly in their entire write-ups. Even that is picked up very importantly. There are students who have had their own startups while they were studying, and they've landed in Apple. People who have done social work, because of that social work, have landed up in Google. So it is not only for your admission, but also for your placements. Having all these co-curricular aspects, but it all depends on whether you're just doing it for that or you're actually wanting to do it. Because they are very, they're very observant about that. Whether you did it just for an admission process or whether you've really done it because you had that spark in you, maybe from childhood or whatever. So just be careful about that.
Also, just to add, doesn't matter even if you started a startup and you failed, or you did something in your life and you failed, doesn't matter. You can still put it in your SOP. It adds to your value that, okay, this is something you tried, you failed, but you learned something throughout that route, and that is something they value greatly.
Yeah, failure, they will, even your academic failure, don't shy, even if you got a KT, suppose we will not accept it here, but there, even if you have a KT in a particular semester, and you do mention that this is what happened, and this is how, maybe because of health or whatever you give your reason, and then you have said how you have crossed that challenge. They appreciate that. They're looking at the strategy, how you build up a strategy and how you've crossed that. Hate karo thiya koi bhi failure when at the pan, we don't want to show it to anybody. Whether it's a failure in business, whether it's a failure in academics, whatever be the failure. Pake koi ke pan vatarno nahi. Even sado, koi guest ache vara mein, maybe we baked a cake અને ઓકે એક બગડે ગયો તો હું પણ છુપાઈ લાવ્યો, maybe we'll bake another one. But that's not what they look at. They look at how you have faced the whole challenge. Yeah, anyone who has a visa related question? Yeah. Can the mic be taken there?
Hello, good evening, Sudhir sir. So my question is regarding analyzing the rejection rate of the Mumbai embassy in terms of visa acceptance. Would you recommend us taking slots in different states to go for interviews and given कि वहाँ पे acceptance rate ज़्यादा है?
I would prefer to give interview in Mumbai only if you are here. Because elsewhere, they feel that you have come there because you want to do consular shopping.
Okay.
So it's advisable that you give interview here only and do not go. Some people at the moment are going to Bangkok, some are going to Singapore because they want to get the visa quickly. But I personally feel that it's not advisable. Some are applying in New Delhi and their interview is in New Delhi and fingerprints is taken in Mumbai or Bangalore. So it's not good. But one thing I want to tell you, hearing all this discussion is pertaining to finance and finance. Are you all going to USA, UK, Canada for job or for study? I think there are three types of students. Number one is who is only interested in study, and that student goes abroad to study, is not bothered. He does not consider that after completing my study, whether I will get a job or not. Second type of students are, large number of them, maybe 70-80%, who are good in studies. They want to study also, but they want to study because they can get a better job. And I think from listening to the questions, you feel that there is no job available in India? Or after studying you have to do job only? You can't do your own practice? If you are a computer professional, you can become a computer consultant. So I'm really very, very surprised that everybody is interested in taking up a 20 hours job on campus or in vacation job or in optional practical training. And everybody is asking questions. Nobody is asking questions about education or something. And the third type of students are, they are not interested in studies. They want to go to USA, they want to go to Canada or UK because their relatives are there, they want to go and work there. Majority of them are, I mean, it's not bad to work in foreign countries. But I would personally feel that your focus should be on education. And if you have got good education, if you are good in your studies, you are bound to get job. Am I right?
Thank you very much. And again, I move on to the next question, which is also related to finance. And this question is, what type of loans are available from the KVO? And I would just like to say there are many organizations which will help you with the loan. All the loan is interest free. That is the common thing. But some may ask you for the recovery before you even complete your course. Some may ask you for your recovery after you complete the course. And you will have to be prepared with both, because the reason is because all organizations do not have the same funding status, the financial status. So depending upon what their status is, it would differ. But which organizations? KVO Seva Samaj is there. The organization that we are sitting right now, Matunga Boarding, is there. Danji Devsi is there. For girls, Matushri Manibai and Bhanbai Nancy. Jain Jagruti anyways gives to all Jains. Jito will help you with some, little relaxation in the interest rate. Then there are many other private, I think one of you all were going to talk.
So, I have not applied in 6 or more than 6 universities. So, will this be a problem during the visa interviews?
Not necessarily. Why I said that you should apply in more universities, that because if you do not get admission in the single or 1 or 2 universities, you have opportunities. But many students apply only in 1 university also, and they get admission. So it's not, there's nothing wrong.
You already secured admission?
Yeah, I have accepted the letter.
Where
so there's nothing wrong.
In UTD.
Okay,
University
Texas,
of
Dallas.
Dallas.
Nothing wrong.
Take
Nothing
care,
wrong.
if you got in, what is the problem?
And second question is, the visa slots for Mumbai right now are not opening. So when can we expect the slots to open?
I think soon they will be starting slots for students, because now the students in May, June, they would be applying in large number, and the university starts soon, so it will be opening within very short time.
Okay, thank you.
I think she had a question on visa also.
It's not very specific to visa, it's a very long-term question. So I am going to the UK to study, and I want to experience the culture there most probably and understand, a lot, because I believe Europe was a place where a lot of things came up from. And I want to get that culture, I want to get that education from the UK, but I want to do a consultancy role.
I can't understand you. Please speak little bit slowly. Perhaps you are talking in British English.
So my future goal is to work as a consultant, but my education will be based in the UK because I believe the culture there has a lot more to offer when it comes to consultancy as a role in general. So will that be taken into consideration, and just consultancy as a private thing that I'll be doing help me get in and move to the USA in the future?
Yes, of course it will help you. It will help you, of course.
There's a direct route, like I can
Yeah.
practice out of university in the 2 years and then apply, or is it going to take a lot more, like roll
Well,
around thing?
that will depend upon which university you are applying. And each university has their own standards, their own
placements
methods.
also.
Yeah, I've
So it will
applied to
depend.
Warwick right now, and I'm looking at a very long-term thing where I want to study and then move. So do you think that is a good option to switch countries later as such?
Whatever advice I will give you, I think the best thing is you should do whatever you feel best. Because I may tell you, you do this first and do that, and it may not be suitable to you. Because your circumstances, your background, I don't know. Your financial background, I don't know. Whether you want to get married soon or late, or you don't want to get married at all, I don't know. So you will have to take the judgment on your own self. And another thing, there were many questions about safety, security. આપણે અહીંયા મુંબઈમાં પણ રાતના કશે અંધારા ખૂણામાં કે અંધારા રસ્તામાં જઈએ તો સેફટી છે? અમેરિકામાં કે યુકેમાં કે કેનેડામાં કે ઓસ્ટ્રેલિયા કે ન્યૂઝીલેન્ડમાં તમે જો એવી જગાએ જાઓ કે જ્યાં બધા રાઉડિઝમ હોય એ હોય તો તમારી સેફટી નહીં રહે. બીજું કે આપણે જ્યારે કશે પણ ફોરેન જઈએ છીએ તો આપણે, હું જૈન છું, હું હિન્દુ છું, હું વૈષ્ણવ છું, એટલે આ મુસલમાન ખરાબ, આ ક્રિશ્ચન ખરાબ, એવું આપણે કરીએ છીએ. એટલે આપણે હેટ્રેડ ઊભી કરીએ છીએ, અને એને લીધે આજે બધા શૂટિંગના બનાવો બને છે એ બને છે. તો બને ત્યાં સુધી મેં જેમ કીધેલું કે તમે રિલિજન, પોલિટિક્સ ડિસ્કસ ના કરો. તમે દેશમાં ભણવા જાઓ છો તો ભણવામાં ધ્યાન આપો, અને ભણી રહ્યા પછી જો ત્યાં કામ કરતા હો તો એમાં ધ્યાન આપો. કોઈ તમારો ધર્મ જે હોય તે તમારા ઘરમાં પાળો, પણ બહાર એને બધું એ કરશો તો લોકોને તમારા તરફ દુશ્મનાવટ થશે. સો પ્લીઝ એવોઇડ ધેટ થિંગ. સ્ટડી, and if you want to work there, but then don't indulge into any other things.
I'm just sorry, we will have to channelize the questions. There are people who have written the questions and given, we will be focusing on that. Before that, we will complete the questions on visa related with Sudhir Bhai. But offhand, please let's not take the mic and ask the question, because people who have penned down the questions. Yeah, you can ask. It's still going to come otherwise, but you can ask.
So my question is that in case of source of funding, does it raise a red flag at the time of visa interview? Like for example, if somebody with a green card is sponsoring my education, will that be an issue? Or
When you apply for a student visa, you have to show that you are financially well off, able to pay your fees, and you have intention to come back after you complete your studies. Now it doesn't matter if somebody is financing you in USA who is a green card holder or a citizen. If you can show that your intentions are not to stay there permanently, then of course they will grant you visa.
okay, so the source of funding.
Yeah. And now supposing your auntie is staying in New Jersey and you apply for admission in a university in New Jersey, then they may feel that yes, you are going there because your auntie is there. But if she is supporting you, but you apply to a university in California, I don't think there should be any problem.
Okay. Another question follow up. So if somebody is like being a co-applicant and we are taking a loan from US and they are becoming a guarantor, so is that also fine?
Yes, nowadays
perfectly fine.
Formally it was little bit difficult, but now they do not mind. You can have. That is why banks are giving loans to students, and students get admission showing that they have got loan from the bank. So there is no problem. All that you have to show is that your intention is not to stay permanently.
If more than like two people are going from the same family, and at the time of visa interview they ask what is your sibling going to do, and so that's like completely fine if both of us plan to come back. And
If both are genuine students, then I don't think there should be any problem. They could be twins also.
Okay, thank you, Sudhir bhai. We'll take your visa questions again later. Let Meet complete because he has had a very important experience regarding loans, bank loan, private loans. Will you please talk on that?
Yeah. So, my personal experience was I took each and every opportunity what our KVO Seva Samaj gave by taking all the interest-free loans, which from where I was able to grab that opportunity. So I took went to each and every sanstha and asked about it. I took more than 10 to 15 lakhs of loan right from our Samaj, which was interest-free. Other than that, there are other opportunities as well, what Indian government provide us. I don't know if anyone is aware about that or not, which is Minority Padho Pardesh Yojana, which it is closed. Okay.
From this year, it's closed.
Because when I went, it was still active. So that was again a huge opportunity for the interest-free loans as well. Other thing was I also took a private loan, which was again mortgage-free. But the interest rates were high, but I was not worried about the interest rate. I was just worried about I can be able to finance myself. The route which I took was, I mostly disbursed most of the amount from the Seva Samaj which I got. And other thing what Milay mentioned was host families. Once you maintain a good relationship with the host families, even there are interest-free loans or Seva Samaj are over there overseas that also provides you with interest-free loans in US as well. So I took there from two Samaj, which was IAM JV and Cojain. Those were the two institutions which provided me interest-free loan in US. So I didn't knew that this thing also exists. When I stayed with the host families, I maintained good relationship. Like samne se they told me.
They give reference also.
They gave us reference. They gave us a good reference and they helped me a lot by going through this scenario. When it comes to repayment of the loan, the route that I took was most of the disbursement was done by Seva Samaj loans. Second thing, only first and the second semester, what Ila auntie told was disbursed by my private loan, where the interest rate was around 12, 13. At the end, it was around 14%. And it was very difficult for anyone to just repay at 14%. So what I did was I took private loans, how Dr. Sudhir Shah just told that the point was just brought out, that I took private loan from USA, which was at 5 to 6% interest rate. And I completely repaid my loan in India, and slowly and steadily I was repaying in US dollars, where the interest rate was only 4 to 5%. Right now it has increased due to inflation. But those were the things that you need to research on your own and ask, connect with people. The pand pochbo, taj pake answers malda. That's what I wanted to make that point, because lots of students have the same question. How about financing, loans? Because right now the interest rates are so high, banks are not allowing without the mortgage. Mortgage becomes very important. As Laks uncle also said, that parents are worried that agar chokre ke job nahi male to panjo mortgage hai, loan interest repayment kedi de thindo. I would just make that, go with the mortgage free loans. There are companies who provide such kind of loans. They are safe, and the reference of that mortgage free private loan I also got from KVO Samaj seminars. So no need about any counselors also for those things. They will not help you with those kind of aspects and references. So just keep that point also in mind. That's what I wanted to say.
Just wanted to give an example of, elaborate on the point which you mentioned, the parent situation. Right now when they want their child to go, they are ready to take any amount of loan at any amount of interest. अगर इंटरेस्ट ज़्यादा है तो भी वो अमाउंट लेने को तैयार है, लेकिन बैंक वाले ने बोला अगर कोलैटरल दे के हम कम कर सकते, दे आर रेडी टू गिव देयर हाउस where they are living, everything for collateral. We would recommend from on the platform of Seva Samaj that especially to the parents, please do not put your house as a collateral. Do not.
And I think one point to add, like Meet's story is amazing when it says what building good relations with host family can offer you. So the कच्चे में ना आज ये ओळखाण सौटी वडी खाण है, तो बनाया ओळख, relations build कया, आणि पण उनके मान्या. So please make sure you build those relations. It will help you a lot in the long
Even
run.
in COVID period, I remember there was a student in Boston only, and he lost his mother. He had already lost his father long back when he was a child. I don't know, you may know him also. And he lost his mother during COVID. Mother and uncle and nana and a lot of family members went. That was when, I think, during the second wave. A lot of members died. He was over there. He had taken all heavy loans and gone. He wanted to come back over here for his younger brother. His younger brother was studying over here in this institution at that time. So he wanted to come back for his younger brother. We counseled him. We suggested to him that right now do not make a hasty decision. Do not go on emotions. You may not land up going back because of all the dues. He wanted to come back because his mother was managing the finances. He didn't know where was the bank statements, the checkbook, nothing he was aware of. And the problem was his building was, I think, that was a period when they were restricting entry into certain buildings. So it was that period. It was a very sad scenario. And he had to pay his fees. He didn't have money. That was the time when the host family in Boston helped him with the entire amount. They took the money from Kojaina. She helped also herself. And that's how his entire fees. We sent some amount from here, from Seva Samaj, and somehow or the other we managed so that he could complete his 2 years. It was very important. He was the only bread earner in the next 2 years. So looking into that scenario, as he very rightly they have said that host family can play such an important role. So do not just take them ke khana, rehna, airport pe mere ko lene ko aana, bank account mujhe khol ke dena. Don't look into all those things. Learn to do your petty things. Don't expect your host family to do all that. Okay, one very common question which has come. I have a question to all of you all before I go further. Do we go further or you want to wind up? Sure? Okay, there is a question. Is it better to do your bachelor's abroad or master's? There are 3-4 people who have asked. So maybe none of them have done their bachelor's there.
I think it's better to do masters because bachelor's course is lengthy, expensive, and the student is not experienced, is very young. So if he completes bachelor's here and then goes for masters, it is better. But if the parents have funds, they can spend money, then yes, he can go for bachelor's also.
Okay, wanted to ask to get the networking started once in USA and how to make sure to get an internship and how, I think this is already responded. Okay, for green card, I think that also is responded. So questions to Sudhir bhai. There is a very specific question. Can you connect me, any one of you connect me with anyone from Pittsburgh or CMU, any alumni? I think there are, if you go to the university site, there are alumni and our own KVO list. If you refer to Pug Dundee, how many of you will know about Pug Dundee? Pug Dundee में फोटे साथे total details वह तो और हाने तक commutary है खाली नालो वह you get everything, isn't it? So it's very easy to contact people. Refer to Pug Dundee past once they're all on the website. All the past issues are on the website. So you may refer to that. Generally, September, October, November issues, they will have all the data of every year. So you can contact them there.
Also, you can just search it on LinkedIn as well. Just type in the university name and department. You'll get people studying in that department and everything on LinkedIn.
There's one question for Sagar. Heard you completed your masters from France. Could you please brief as to whether it is advisable to study on a non-English speaking country having a minimum percentage of Indians? If curriculum is far more superior, then should the country matter to some extent? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, so it is very challenging when you study in France or any European country for that matter. There are very specific cities. For example, Paris, you can find English-speaking jobs, okay? Apart from Paris, you go anywhere, you will have to speak the regional language. And whenever you go to, so even I've done my B1, in all languages you have, until C2 levels, which are 6 levels. A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 and C2. So that is a must which you have to do. At least bare minimum you'll have to speak. Otherwise you cannot land a job there. Also when you go to Germany, wherein I have spent a semester, there also only in Berlin you can find English speaking jobs. And in Frankfurt you can find English speaking job. Apart from that you cannot find any job. So if you're going to any European country, make sure that you are prepared at least with basic regional language. Also all these universities provide, so you'll have, if you are going for a master's, you will have a 2-year master's in any European country except for UK. I think UK does have 1 or 2 year course. But whenever you go to that specific university, you are provided with the option to study in, if you are in France, you are allowed to study in French and you are allowed to study in English. You can choose that. So what a lot of people did was, they did their basics A1 and A2 from here, and then they went there. Also the university teaches you that specific language. So again, in a year's time, you can learn another 2 level, and then in your last semester or your second last semester, you can actually study in those regional languages. Like a lot of people did take French as their base language for their studies. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I have got admit in UMass, very specific it is. My concern is, after checking the business and entrepreneurship curriculum, will it be fair to study and continue in East or aspire for West like California? As I heard, California is mainly for IT individuals. He was busy in the mobile. I don't know, you heard the question.
Ilanti, sorry, can you repeat the question?
See how I caught you. Okay, I have got an admit in UMass Boston. My concern is, after checking the business and entrepreneurship curriculum, will it be fair to study and continue in East or aspire for West, like California? As I heard, California is mainly for IT.
So I don't think the university actually matters. So if you are more concerned like weather conditions in East Coast is not suitable for me, UMass Boston, if you like the course, I would say go ahead with it. Like, why not? And if you are so confident, like you can grab any company, it can be anywhere in the US or outside of the US. So why not? Like if you really like the curriculum of the UMass Boston, I would say go for it. Similarly, in my case, I really like Northeastern curriculum. That's why I joined. But yeah, later I realized that Boston is not for me, or New York is not for me during the cold. So I was searching outside Boston, outside East Coast. So I switched to West Coast. So like one point over here is universities, I think they don't, if the curriculum is good, even if the ranking is okay, decent enough, if the curriculum is good, I would say go for it.
Yeah, you can move from East to West Coast and West to East Coast. We know that there are entire alumni of ICT, of Somaya, XYZ, SP, entire batches living in a particular region. So ultimately, they may have gone to different universities to study, but maybe after 5 years, 7 years, 2 years of work, they find their way out, and as we say, like attract each other. So they all get together, and there are huge level, big level alumni associations in certain regions, like Samir Somaya, then you have the VC of the ICT, they all visit their ex-students, their alumni. So you can move around, there is nothing, no, but yeah, California is good for IT, that is good, that is true. And you will go to the East Coast, it's good for finance and all those business, that's also true. Okay, in the worst case scenario, if the student does not get an H1 visa, तो क्या करना है, वापस ही आना है ना उसको. What can be done to extend our stay so we can work more, study more, study again?
Yeah, study there. There is an option called as Day 1 CPT, where you join in a college, another university for another year. You can still work for 40 hours, stay in the same company, and like side by side take another course. This year, like I have had like many instances, many of my friends, like third chance, they didn't get the H1B picked up in the lottery. They are moving forward with Day 1 CPT. There are few like who requested their company to switch back to some other country. So for example, my team, it's in Hyderabad, in Pune. Two of my colleagues, like they are moving from Sunnyvale to Hyderabad. One is moving to Canada. So there are many options. You can request your company if they have a larger presence in different country where the visa requirements is not that stringent. Or you can go ahead with Day 1 CPT.
In fact, some like Sagar, they choose to go to another country because when they go to managerial position.
If you are unmarried, you can marry a US citizen.
Yeah, that's on the lighter side, very nice. So we know of students who have gone internationally, even Preeti Satra's son Neil. They choose to go internationally because they get higher positions. You get managerial positions. When you come back, your green card processing is easier. So there are ways to work it out. And once the child will go, they will learn how to do it. I have a question. I don't know who's written this question. I'm very curious to know. Which country is best for girls to go?
India.
Who's written this? Who's written this? Must be some mother. Can't be the student. Is it the mother? Someone from here? I would say all countries are safe till we play safe. So we have to be careful. There's nothing about girls' country or boys' country. Is COVID vaccine compulsory? Yes. I think graduation and masters is already explained. Sudhir bhai has got a question. What is important, Form 16 or ITR for visa interview?
Both, whatever you have got.
Both. Yeah, both are needed. There is a question on, again, fear factor. It comes in the news that Indian students are bullied in UK by some Muslim students. Can you tell something about that? As many people say UK is racist. As I said, it all depends on us. There are many people who shift from the US to UK and many people who move from the UK to Canada or US. So all these things, you know, too much of news reading also, I think you can avoid. Yeah, bolo.
It's completely on how you play it. Like, I have friends from Pakistan and we don't have any issue. Like, if you tease them, if you bully them, they obviously will bully you back. So it's based on that. And it's up to you, like, you have to choose your friends wisely. That's it.
Okay, I think I'm going to take this as the last question from here, unless you have any question. If given a choice between utilizing the fund allocated, I don't know who's allocating, hum bhi aa jate line mein. Fund allocated for either taking up masters or for using them into some business, which one would you take now that you have gone through the entire process?
I would just first take funds for my masters, take knowledge, come back or experience it and utilize the funds which I've earned from my job into my startup. That's what I wanted to say.
Very good.
Can somebody provide? Sudhir bhai, apne mic up. No, just leave that mic there. No, don't leave that. Sudhir bhai.
There's one more mic, right?
I've actually noted it down, I think.
Sorry?
The questions haven't come yet.
Yeah, you can ask.
I don't remember. I have a few written here, but I've written my name on top.
Because only some repeat questions we have not taken.
No, it's not.
What was it related to?
It was related to Carnegie Mellon and a few questions.
Carnegie Mellon?
Yeah.
So that they've already replied.
No. There were a few more. I don't recollect. But anyways, the other questions that I had was, do you require a transit visa if we are going via London Heathrow Airport? You do. But what if you have a US visa? You do not, right, in that case?
No, like there have been news that you don't require a visa, transit visa if you have a US visa, but don't believe it because you can be stopped anytime. Like, I have a case where a person holding a green card visiting Vietnam was stopped at didn't have a visa, and they were stopped at the airport because they didn't have a Vietnamese visa. So don't believe that. Just take a visa. If you're taking a flight through London, take a transit visa. Play safe.
Okay, and like, is an international driving license required, or can the Indian license work like a driving license?
So on your I-20, as far as I was driving in my Indian license with my I-20, current I-20. But yeah, like if a tourist is going, I think like international driving license is required.
No, the correct answer to it is based on your I-94, the date you go, the Indian license is valid for 6 months. For example, you went in January, your Indian driving license is valid till June. After that, you cannot drive on Indian driving license. If you do not have an international driving license, you came back in December to meet your family. You went back in December mid or something like that. Again, for the next 6 months, your Indian driving license is valid.
Okay, so what form do I have to fill for that?
No form at all. You can just show the police officer your
driving license, like after 6 months.
Can you repeat what?
You said it's only valid for 6 months.
Yes.
Then what after that?
With the same license.
What if I do want to come back?
So you have to take out your international driving license.
Then you have to appear for the test over there.
Go to your local RTO, get the learning, and then get your...
All your written practicals, you'll have to go through all that.
And similarly for UK, you can drive 1 year on your Indian driving license.
Okay. And like just a generic question. I have an admit from CMU, but I'm waitlisted at University of Washington. The program is same, Masters in Information System Management. In this case, does the brand name give you an edge? Any edge, like even 1% edge over others to get a job?
So brand names will definitely give you an edge, because for us it was a virtual career fair, but for, I guess now it won't be a career like it would be a in-person career fair, and it would definitely give you an edge, because CMU more companies will come, definitely more companies will come rather than Northeastern. So yeah, it will definitely give you an
But should
edge.
one defer their program by a year because of the, so no need, right? 16 months after that, I think the scenario will be better.
Yes.
Okay, and also the last question is,
See, we have a lot of alumni from all these universities. So, as I said, if you refer to the Pagdandi, that will really help you all.
Yeah,
If you want any further contacts, we can help you out with. KVOSS, Seva Samajni website. Can you just pass the mic to him?
I had one question actually, the last question. So the thing is, would it be better to take a loan from the US bank? Like you have many, Discover, Ascent,
Yeah,
or Nest.
so ideally it's much better that you take it from US or other European countries, because interest rates are much lower
Very
there
low.
compared to Indian companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do have fun. Okay, thank you.
Also, just to answer the question, wherein a lot of people are scared to, so except for UK and Europe, which are severely affected and might be affected by recession, certain other countries, when you start studying now, you don't know in 1 year the situation might improve tremendously. And just because thinking that recession might come, you're not going, then that should not be an issue if you have gotten into a very good university.
So I have not made up my mind yet if I want to go to study abroad, but everyone's ultimate goal to go abroad is to obviously make more money than you can make while studying in India. So you might have friends who might have done similar or same courses in India. So comparatively, does having a degree from a foreign institute help you make more than having a degree from the same in India? Like if I finish my engineering from the IIT, or from some other institute in USA, does it make a difference on the amount of the money I'm making?
When you're coming back to India, you're talking about the money to be made in India after studies.
Both ways. If I have a degree from IIT and I go to work in the USA, or if I have a degree from the Northeastern University and I come to work in India, how much difference does it make?
You're talking about an Indian degree and work there directly?
Both, vice versa also.
So have you heard about purchasing power parity?
Yeah.
So if you take that into account, standard of life of a person earning 10 lakhs a year in India is equivalent to a person earning 40,000 pounds. That's like 40 lakhs a year in the UK. So, and for example, for my field in chemical engineering, after my master's in UK, I get a like average package of 30 lakhs a year. That's the average that we've been getting. And same in India, we're getting around 10 lakhs. So if you compare that, I'm getting 10 lakhs less in UK and more in India.
So that basically depends. So you have loans to repay while you're earning more,
Yeah,
and
that
here
is
you do
all
not have
external
that many
factors.
loans to repay while you're earning less.
Yeah. Yeah, the cost of living matters.
It also depends on your own lifestyle.
Right.
What you don't spend is your saving.
It will also depend upon which university you have passed. If you have passed from a ordinary low-grade university of USA, then you do not have any good chances. But if you have passed from a very good university in India, you will have very good chances. So it will depend upon which university you are studying, not India or USA.
And life is long. Like you are probably, I'm guessing, around 20 or 25. Life will go till 70. You can pivot at different points of time. You may work for 10 years in India, maybe have your own startup, which can, in the next decade, give you something which US can't offer in over 2, 3, 4 decades. So life is really long. Don't take a short-term approach of 3 years, 4 years. Think long-term if you're able to. and pivot on that. That's why Sunil uncle said very well where he's saying like build your capabilities, because that will stick with you for the long run. Go for education. That will stick with you till you're 70, till you're 80, till you're 90. So build on that, because that's an asset you can get dividend out of throughout the rest of your life, instead of focusing on 1 year, 2 year, 3 year and comparing countries.
Yeah, can we pass the mic
one
to her?
last question.
Okay.
Also, I'm not from the science field, I'm from the commerce field. And I wanted to know if you have in mind, so I have various options open right now, what countries are good, or I'm yet to do my research, but according to you, if there's a particular country that is good for, suppose, commerce, marketing, advertisement, or say sports management, if there is one or two particular countries, then I'll talk to you after. And my last question is, if I'm filling my application for admission in some university, there are several aspects that I have to cover, like my education, my background, my work experience, some small description about me. So what is the major thing that universities focus on, or what your university focuses on? So if some particular university might focus on your education, some might focus on your work, extracurricular, or work experience, but in general, if there is a trend that universities are following.
Yeah. So ideally, in general, it again boils down to your extracurricular activities, what all you have done in your past. You know, if even if you delivered newspaper as a kid, that would count, and show that you went out of the way. No other student might have that in their CV, but you did something which is extra. And in India we have this perception that delivering a newspaper or delivering milk is a bad thing. Doing something low is very bad. But in United States or any other European country, it's a common norm. It's just work, and people want to earn extra, so they are just doing that. And just to answer your question in terms of is there a specific university or country which is good in finance? So I think you should just go and look at the financial market. Which country has the biggest financial market, and you have the answer.
I just wanted to ask, can you give me some advice on honors college? Like, is it helpful, or like, should you apply or not?
Honors?
Honors college.
She's not put it right. First of all, the person who had put UMass question, can please let us know. Okay, in UMass, they have honors studies as well as regular studies. So does taking up honors syllabus work better than the regular studies?
It is higher level.
It is higher level, but even
if you're taking it up, it will have more weightage. But you may find it difficult, so you have to be careful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and regarding scholarship, when you've already got scholarship from a university, and there are few results for the exams which you have appeared, or few achievements which have come later. So how do you update with the university asking them for more scholarship?
Once your scholarship comes in, has anybody experienced that? You can talk. You have to negotiate. You can go on till the end.
Correct. You can absolutely negotiate. I got scholarship from 3 universities. I studied from ESCP Business School, which is ranked among the top 5. And what happens is, when you get an admit and plus you get a scholarship, let's assume you got 20% from a good university, from a bad university, and vis-a-vis you got a 40% from a good university. You can always go back to the bad university, say that I already have a scholarship from X university and they are offering me 40. Although I'm very interested in this thing, if you match it or if you increase it to, let's say, 75% or more, or whatever that number is, they are very happy to give you. Also, if you have additional extracurricular activity, you can always write an email to them and negotiate. Also, a lot of times students face that you have to pay the fee, and you have not received an offer from some other university and you are waiting. Even that can be delayed, and you can just write an email to them and mention that you are facing some challenges and you would like additional 1 month's time to pay the fee and wait for other universities.
But when it is just the beginning of your studies, like you have just finished your 12th and you're going for your undergraduation, you have secured your admissions, they have offered you a good scholarship. Now you want to further ask them for the scholarship. So is it good time to ask it before actually taking the admissions?
Yeah, that is what you're supposed to do. Once you take the admission, you don't have any leverage or negotiation power, and it's always good to ask questions and ask. There's nothing to lose. So, in fact, if you have not gotten a scholarship, write an email, and even if 100 people are writing an email and asking for scholarship wherein they have not received any scholarship, what is the worst case scenario? You might not get a scholarship, but even out of that 100, even one or two of you, if you receive 10-20%, that is additional income for you, right?
Just one thing that I would like to say to all of you is, for them, you are their client. They are getting money through you. So we should not get scared. If you have to ask, if you have to clarify, just do it. Do it in a nice, polite manner and be clear about whatever you want to know. Yeah, there was one question there.
आंके भरनो है, उन्हीं के पर उन्हीं की सीट्स भरनी हुई. So realize कि उन्हीं के पर खपे था students. उन्हीं के खाली batches नहीं करना. So just like how you are desperate and you are interested to study more, even they want their seats to be full. They want students to come to their campus. They want a vibrant community.
In fact, there are universities in the classroom. Once you go there, maybe you will have 80% coming from India.
Yeah.
You are just physically shifted there, but you are still in a classroom of Indians. Or you may have 60-40, 40% maybe Chinese or the reverse. So you may have Asians eventually. So they also want to, as he rightly said, they want to fill up their seats. Yeah.
So I have a visa related question. Recently on 19th April, the workers in the Public Service Alliance of Canada union have voted in favor of strike, and they are now in a legal strike position. So will that delay my visa a lot, or?
Sudhir bhai, tamne se.
So I have a question related to Canadian visa. So on 19th April, the workers in the Public Service Alliance of Canada have voted for a legal favor position of strike. So will that delay my visa by any chance? Or because IRCC
I
is
still
also,
don't understand your question. Please repeat it.
So basically, the IRCC, who are a part of the visa process for the Canadian visas, have voted for a legal strike, favor in a legal strike position. So will
You are
that-
applying for a Schengen visa.
Yeah.
Okay, then-
Canadian visa. So the visa IRCC has gotten into a strike position on 19th April.
What?
Strike position.
There is a strike.
They have gone on a legal
Strike, okay.
हाँ. So will that delay the visas a lot?
Will that what?
Like my visa late tha sir.
Naturally, if they are going on strike, of course it will.
So how do we? Yeah.
Because strike
You
means
can't
they're not
help it.
working.
Yeah.
So you have
can't
to
help
wait.
it everywhere. See, US also there lots of delay. Canada also is delay. Australia, now they are not allowing Indian students.
Oh.
Beg your pardon? Yeah, from few university. Yeah. Yeah.
I think with this, the clock is ticking. You can personally talk now to Sudhir bhai and the panelists, and I think we will have to wind up. Is there anyone who has not asked a single question? I will give you a chance. Come here. You have to come ahead. Come here quickly. This is the last question.
So what is the disadvantage of going into spring intake? So is there any disadvantage in going for masters in spring intake?
Not
Spring.
at all.
Yeah.
Fall. Okay, he's asking you about the season.
Yeah, because
Not at all.
actually I was planning for spring intake. So for fall it's 1 year time, right? So
So
for
there are
visa
2
slots.
points. 2 points. Whether it is good or bad to go in spring. The answer is no. Both spring and fall, both provides the same course. The only difference is the weather conditions in the university that you are going. If you are going into eastern side in the US, if you go in spring, you will, as far as you land there, you will face severe cold. And I don't know that you will be able to handle that or not. That's why most of the students prefer fall. And the advantage technically which I found out was when you go in spring, for your STEM course, technically you get 4 attempts for your H1B instead of 3, because your STEM OPT expires on January, February, and the 4th attempt comes in March. So even though your 3rd attempt your H1B is not picked, technically if you work with your employer, you get another attempt for your H1B. So that's again an advantage. So it's not a correct answer that it is not good to go in spring, it is advantageable to go in fall. Both the seasons are well good to do your masters in US.
I would just like to also add, because there are maximum students going in fall, the placement, the entire placement thing is better for that batch of student. It's not that it will not happen, but it's better here. Okay. So with this, we wind up. Thanks to each of you. We have our young secretary who is going to give the vote of thanks, enthusiastic.
Thank you, Ilaben. Just an formality I have to complete. And today's seminar, you all will agree that it went very well. We were also not expecting that huge crowd to be here. And thanks for your participation. And I'll thanks our panelists, young panelists who have we approached them and they have said right on the spot, they have said yes, we will come. They helped us. Sudhir bhai, thanks for your guidance. And thanks for one and all who have directly or indirectly.
Along with Sudhir bhai, I think there are 2 women who also have to be thanked. We cannot go ahead without that because Sudhir bhai still has to get a dinner. Yes, Preeti. Preeti the પાંજી કચ્છી KVO જે જો આટલો પેટ ભર્યા પાલા કરને ને દર વર્ષે સુધીરભાઈ કે ગમે કરીને ખેંચે છે અને સુધીરભાઈ really I want to add one point. Aniji her age mein he has gone through all the COVID period and all that, come out safely અને પાંજે presentation લા he has devoted 3 full days to prepare for. Really thank you and thanks to better half. She went, came back. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilaben. And thanks to Matunga Boarding to provide us this hall and the dinner facility. And thanks to all of you to join on Sunday, being a Saturday, being a weekend. Generally everybody, youngsters, they have a plan. And today MI match is also there, but still youngsters are here. So thanks all of you. Thank you.
And you are here for the last 4 hours. No, 4 hours over here in the hall and maybe 2 hours before that. So thank you very much.